Hey guys, before the podcast starts, I just wanted to inform you guys that we originally had the idea of doing a video podcast for this one, but all my video files are corrupted, so I just sorted out to just making a normal background noise type of video and all that shit. So apologies for the non-execution, but hopefully we'll get better in the future. All right, thanks guys.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, we did.
That game was fucking depressing. It didn't keep people alive at all.
Yeah, that's because everybody thought COVID was going to evolve into it and we were going to die.
There is one thing that can be said about that game, that going through that game, it really puts you through a feeling of fucking despair and just confusion when you're playing the game. So many mixed emotions. And I think that's exactly what they were going for.
Probably.
As game.
Do we have more?
No, it's only these
you only
two
get
for
two.
now.
Just the two
for now.
That's fine.
I'll rock them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you were in the headphones. Okay.
Oh,
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to the BeeHole Podcast. I am your host, Lucas the Shroom. And today I got some very special guests. I say that every podcast because all my guests are very special. I got Dano over here.
What's up, boyos?
Finally got Dan on the podcast. And we got Marcus over here. I've been wanting to get these two on the podcast for a long time. It's just our schedules didn't really align up.
I work every day of my life.
Like a loser. Who does that? And we also got Adam.
Yo!
Adam's just kind of chilling.
I'm here.
Adam's
I'm here.
Adam's my boy. He's my Asian stunt double.
When he's twice your size.
Yeah. You are taller than me. Anyways, how have you guys been?
Honestly, I'm pretty solid. I'm moving into a new apartment soon, so that's pretty legit.
Ooh.
That's going to be happening
soon?
within the next 2 weeks.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Like,
Hell
I
yeah.
literally just signed the lease renewal or the rental application today, but that was basically a formality paperwork at this point.
You've got a tour of it already?
Oh yeah, I've already seen the entire layout of the entire apartment. I already know how I want to put shit. Like I already know how I want to the living room. I know where I want to put my
bringing that pole
cabinets.
with you?
Oh hell yeah! That's fucking coming.
He was practicing on Sims before.
Absolutely, 100%.
Dude, what's up with that? I've been seeing a lot of pornographic stuff on Sims.
Oh, dude,
now.
Sims has always been like that.
Whoa.
Fill me in, boyo.
Yeah,
I've been seeing a lot of
Luke
that shit on
has
Facebook.
everything downloaded, every mod.
Luke,
No,
Luke,
every
what
position.
kind of weirdo porn are you
First
into
of all,
over here,
I'm on the
man?
PS5, so I get all the mods. Anyways, no, I see that shit on every female freaking Facebook story. They're like, my
I'm
Sims
not on the
character,
book anymore.
my Sims character is
so-
getting it down. And I'm like,
To be
the
fair,
hell?
the entirety of the Sims universe has been pretty fucked up the last couple of years just because of mods in and of itself.
I guess so.
I can't really be
Like
shocked
what?
at it at this point.
I don't know anything about Sims modding.
Oh, I've just seen past
why you gotta say it like that? Why you gotta say it like that, bro?
Sims modding. Tell me about it, Luke. You know all about it. Tell me about it.
I don't know anything.
I've just seen a bunch
I
of-
asked a question.
Dan knows all about it. Tell
I've
me
just seen
about
a
it.
bunch of passing videos on Facebook and stuff and just kind of pieced it together, but some of the mods are just wonky where you can just have full-blown sexual mods active or mods where all of your Sims
Oh,
look like
dude,
different
woohooing
monsters.
ain't enough for you anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
That's tough.
But then there's also mods that make all your shit look like different monsters and stuff, or just kind of contort them and make them look just
Like
like
aliens?
like aliens,
Shrek.
or like straight up noodle men from COD or something like that when your head would stretch really hard. Yeah, it's like noodle people back in there. It's just terrible mods that they will always do for it. It's a never expanding universe.
I bet you could actually use The Sims though as a solid archetypal.
Oh, absolutely.
Orchestra. Is it what?
Architectural.
Yeah. Sorry, English is hard. It's not my first
Archaeologist
language.
textural.
Architecture sim, right?
I mean, I guess you can use it in a format of being able to.
What if you wanted to
Have a
lay out your dream apartment?
I
And you
wouldn't
know the
necessarily
layout of
recommend it to
and you
use
just
it.
copy it.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to use it as a full-blown 1-to-1 ratio layout and do it designed specifically as that because you do
Got
have
an idea.
measurements to worry
I
about.
got an idea.
Yeesh.
But
you
it would
could-
help you lay out the kind of pattern or layout that you would want for a certain room or something like that, I suppose. I'm not a genius on this matter, but just based off of my knowledge and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
wouldn't be
the
anything
dimensions is
particular.
what would mess with it. Yeah.
dimensions is a thing that would screw it the hardest.
That would
for
mess
sure.
with it. I'm sure you could do a measure out. You could definitely do that. You could do some type of measure out and do it, but
I'm
it's
sure
gonna take
some
so
brainiac
much,
out there has already
work
figured out the
into
measurement,
doing
what
that.
square inch or what square per foot is in whatever Sims
yeah.
game.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Allie plays a lot of Sims.
I could never get into
She
it.
likes it.
What does she play on her computer?
Yeah. No, she says the scary thing about Sims though is that like all the good stuff is in deal.
I was trying to maneuver, like not hit shit, but
It wasn't stupid loud, so you're not too.
Don't worry, it's gonna be like quote unquote cut out on the final product.
Oh.
I kind of did a
It
blast.
cuts itself.
If we're talking about video games, I just did a blast from the past. I just downloaded Knights of the Old Republic on my Switch.
Oh.
I don't know what
Like
that is.
the OG Star Wars game that's basically Star Wars.
It's an
D&D.
MMORPG.
It's an
Oh,
MMORPG.
okay.
no one's online playing that shit though.
It's
No,
no,
people
it's,
are playing
it's,
it.
they've got people playing it,
yeah,
but
I
it's
was
also
playing
got
it a couple
it's
years
got a
ago.
hard dedicated storyline to it. But you interact with other people on it if you want. It's kind of an optional thing at this point with the way the game is set up.
I see.
You ever mess
But
with any
It's
MMORPG
it's
games?
basically a video game
Like
for
what,
Star
WoW?
Wars, but
Yeah.
also set
WoW.
as a
I played
D&D
WoW.
format.
I have not actually.
Like
Did
me creating my character was literally a D&D creation character sheet.
Oh,
Like I'm not even like all of the attributes were the same. You picking out feats were almost identical. It was it's literally layered as a D&D format.
oh, so that's like your game.
Oh yeah, it's very
Yeah.
like I literally just downloaded it last night and I just started playing it for like a solid hour before. But for me, already experiencing that much, I can tell that I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it.
so you got it on your Switch?
Yeah, I got both of them on the Switch because they were on 50% off for both of them, so I got them for like $7.50 a pop.
You gotta
I
get on
just-
that Zelda then,
Hell
boy.
yeah, dude.
I started going back to playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh my god,
Dude,
That
this is
game
my
so fucking
this is my
lengthy.
third time playing it.
It's so
That's some
good.
dedication because that's a long game.
It's a dude. I have like 240 hours on it.
Yeah, but that
Holy
game-
shit.
that game's like engine is so good
for
Like, it's-
PS4.
I'm never gonna bag on somebody for replaying games because I'm the motherfucker that played God of War 2018 like 9 times.
I mean, that's God of War.
it's true.
That's
But
a
I
lot
also-
of time.
It is, but I also loved that game just that much. But I also needed to beat it on Give Me God of War, so it was a dedication.
Hey,
at
when
that
you
point.
eventually play Ragnarok, bro, it's just that much.
Uh,
better. When
You haven't played
eventually-
Ragnarok yet?
I'm not getting it until I get a PS5.
When you eventually
Oh, so
play it,
fast.
dude,
I
it
haven't
is
played Ragnarok
so
either.
fucking good.
I'm
Nobody
gonna
cares.
I'm in a whole ass
either.
domino
No
effect.
spoilers.
Really?
Like,
You've
yeah.
lasted this long with no
Good,
spoilers?
And
Good
watch
for
now,
you.
someone's
What
gonna
the
send me a
fuck?
spoiler
I don't know
in a
anything
message
about the
because
game.
I just said
Good
that,
for you.
and I'm gonna look at it and then I'm gonna see it.
Every single time I've ever seen any kind of reference to Kratos or Atreus whatsoever, I immediately pass right by it. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
I just
No,
go,
that's literally
go on,
how it's been
bye.
with God
Same
of War
thing.
Ragnarok
Same
for
thing
me.
with
I literally
Hogwarts
just-
Legacies and
Literally that exact.
what was the other one that I was gonna get?
super mid.
Diablo 4, but that one I really didn't care too much about spoilers
Oh, yeah.
because meh.
Yeah.
I've been playing Diablo for so long it doesn't even matter to me at this point. But God of War, it's an
Oh.
ever evolving story, so that one I'm like dedicated in not having spoilers. So
I see.
So you ever do an evil Arthur playthrough in Red Dead?
Dude, I can't get myself to do it, dude. I
They're
can't
so
get
much
myself to do it.
The ending, the good ending is so beautiful.
Uh-huh.
though.
You guys
Who
know
wants to
that
admit
his
to a
animal
man tier? Who wants to admit to a man tier to that good ending?
I'll admit to a man tier on that one.
It was a little
practically
sad.
looks
Honestly,
like
I think I
freaking
cried
Arthur
over
Morgan
the horse
right
though.
now.
Honestly, you're not.
No, I'm just kidding. The horse was really emotional, though, surprisingly.
No, the game that made me that actually like
God
made
damn
me, the game that ever actually made me like dedicated cry, Gears of War 3.
I haven't played any of the Gears of War games.
Best cover shooter you'll ever play in your existence, I'll tell you right now. And throughout the entirety of it, you play as a dedicated duo. You play as Marcus and Dom.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hit the third game, and there's a point where you're getting overrun so hard to a point where Dom is just like, "I'm over this life. I miss my wife. I'm gonna sacrifice myself to save everybody." Literally blows himself up to kill everybody.
Damn.
And you just see Marcus's face he's about to cry in the middle of a firefight, and you're just sitting there like, "Eh." So
Next thing
that
you know-
yeah, because you're literally fighting like 3 separate wars with this.
So
duo.
Marcus is the one that died?
No,
No,
Dom.
Dom
is.
did?
He gets
Yeah.
into a truck and he basically pile drives it into an entire like gasoline tankard in order to blow
Oh,
everything up in order to help everybody else out because you're getting completely surrounded.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, Vin Diesel comes in from the sky.
Nothing
It's all
but
about
family.
family.
I hate it so
Picks
much.
him up, is like, I
Stop
got
making
you
them.
today. It's
Yeah.
been a long-
That game is really good. Actually, Easton and I grew up playing those games because we had an Xbox, growing up.
Yep.
We switched to a PlayStation later, and we played through those. That was actually the game that made me cry the first time was Gears of War 3 because me and
Wow.
Easton
Damn.
always played
The
it together.
second one comes really, really close because you have to watch Dom kill his wife.
Holy shit, that took a turn.
You were battling the Locust Swarm, which is basically a humanoid fucked up subversion of humanoid, whatever kind you want to call it, and they basically harvest people for their nutrients and whatever to feed themselves.
Okay.
And they basically turn them into like a huskless slave at some point, and they just kind of have them closed off in a casket. Eventually, Dom finds her, and he's like, I can't let you live like this."
It's one of those things.
It's just kind of, you see the camera pan off and Marcus walking away, and then you just hear the gunshot, and you're just like, ugh! So that one's pretty brutal too, and it has a
It's
close
one
second.
of those.
Yeah,
goddammit.
it's one of those real hardcore points.
So
in
did you
video
guys
game.
play the Loan or Arthur at all?
Yeah, I played both
I
versions.
know your ass would
I played
do
both
it.
versions of Arthur,
No
obviously.
hesitation.
No hesitation whatsoever. If there's a game where I can play a good side and a bad side, you best know I'm playing through it
I
twice.
just can't do
immediately.
it.
Infamous was
Usually
best
it's
on the bad.
easier.
You had to
Usually
play
it's easier.
Infamous.
So I've
like,
always
bad just
found
for the
I have
abilities.
always
You think
found
so?
this.
Yes,
Every single
every
time you
single
are given a
Infamous.
choice about games that give you a light and a dark side, the dark side is always OP as fuck.
I wouldn't say always.
99% of the time, it's either that or you just get that one overpowered weapon that just makes it so much better,
Oh,
or
yeah.
you just have the complete offensive
What does
side
low
of it.
honor give you in Red Dead?
Low on it just it
I don't
gives you
know.
a
It doesn't
harsher
really give you a lot.
it gives you a harsher
I don't
reputation
know.
with
It
the
makes your fucking crew hate your guts.
it does.
Yeah.
It makes the entirety of the crew hate your guts, but it also increases the amount of loot that you pick up.
Oh, that is true.
It increases the amount of money that you earn because you're more
That
of
makes
a
sense.
feared, hated kind of person.
Doesn't you-
people,
I did not know
so
that.
people don't want to
Really?
mess with you. Yeah, if you rob people or if you like,
Man, that makes
Or
sense.
if you
If
just-
you're just an evil piece of shit, you're
if you're
robbing
just
everybody.
if you're searching
you're
bodies
just
or if
doing
you're
more
robbing
dirty
people,
things.
you're doing
That makes
more
sense.
things. It naturally just gives you more loot.
I
Throughout
think
the
you
entire
have a
game.
Capitalism,
longer
baby.
dead eye too, don't you?
You have a longer dead eye as well. It extends it by like a solid 6 seconds or something.
Damn.
Like that. Yeah, you get
I love that game.
a stupid amount.
I got it
for
on the PC, but I haven't gotten around to playing it again. It's just there's just so much shit to fucking play. and
Metro
consume
Last
right
Light.
now, bro.
That's literally what I've been. I'm almost done with it. I love it. Oh
Dude.
my god, dude! This game.
I have been told good
just-
things about the Metro
oh.
games, but I have myself not gotten into them yet.
I decided to try it because it was free. I'm like, why not? You know, I was just like, I'll just try it out. And I don't know, it was just instant. I was like, I fucking love this game. This game is so fun. I just kept playing it. The story sucked me in. There were betrayals. I was like, I was so invested into it. I was like, it's a good game. It's a good game. It holds up for its time. You can tell its age sometimes, but it's a good game.
So I know we're clearly biased, but it's just like at this point, can we acknowledge that video games are art?
Yes.
Dude.
Please let Starfield be good. Please let Starfield be good. That game could be
Just
crazy.
just everything
good,
about
dude.
games now. It's just like the writing can be fantastic.
Yep.
Can be
You want a
gut-wrenching.
good
I can
action is
definitely
next
say-
level.
I can
Can
definitely
be is
say
the
without
thing.
a doubt within the last
Music,
3 or 4 years
visuals.
that solo player games have definitely been on the rise again, and I absolutely adore that.
They never left, baby.
They didn't, but
They
there
never
was
left,
there
baby.
was a
Only
little
the
bit-
graphics went up, dog.
Yeah, exactly. There is
The
there
BRs
was a,
came and
there was like
invaded.
a solid 2-year period until like the God of War came out, 2018, where there was just kind of a low period on some single player games.
Yeah,
because it was
that
just,
is true.
It was just kind of being dominated by the multiplayer world for a
Wait,
little bit.
no, I mean 2018 you got God of War and you got Red Dead.
Yeah, no, but what did you have from 2016 to 2018?
You're right.
Breath of the
You-
Wild, baby.
You had Breath of the Wild and you had Doom 2016. Other than that, what did you really have?
Didn't you have like a Far Cry? No,
I'm
Far
not
Cry
seeing-
4. No,
I'm not
Far Cry.
seasoned enough to
Far
remember.
Cry,
Far
Far
If
Cry
I had a
2014.
Jamie,
Far
we
Cry
would know.
5 and Far Cry 6 didn't get nearly as much praise as 3 and 4.
Far Cry 5 was really good.
5 was fantastic, but
Was it?
6
Oh,
was
yeah.
6 was
Was it?
garbage, dude.
5 was great, but the problem that I always had with 5 is
I
that
thought 5 was alright.
Did you see the cinematics for that motherfucker?
the thing,
I never
the
played
thing with,
really 5.
The
I
thing
played
with
a couple
5 with
times.
for me was that
When-
there was absolutely no
Yeah.
It's all the same.
weapon
5
customization
and 6,
compared
Oh,
to
yeah.
any of
It's
the
all the
other
same.
games. When you put me in 3 or 4, you never had any duplicates of any guns unless it was a base gun to a signature gun, and even then you still had 2 very different weapons. When it came to 5, every gun was literally the same. You go into the shotgun category, I think there were 2 guns that had maybe 2 different attributes, and it was maybe different by a
And then
number.
they had paid guns too, so DLC.
And they
guns
did, and
too.
then they had all these
Oh,
DLC
and they made them
guns.
so good.
But the
'cause, yeah,
thing
they
was
get
with
them.
those, when the game
Bullshit.
first came out, they had special weekly events that you could participate in order to unlock different weapons. My brother and I did this, and we did it a ton. We literally dedicated to doing it for like a solid 2-3 months after the game
God
came out.
damn.
So we got 7, 8, 9, 10 different exclusive weapons, and even then they were still copycats of other weapons that you could purchase in the game for in-game currency.
That's tough.
So we're sitting here doing challenges in
Gotcha.
order to get all these awesome guns, but in reality, you could have just bought the gun, customized it yourself, and called it the fucking day.
Far
Like
Cry.
that was
Damn.
all it
I
fucking
used
was.
to love Far Cry. I think after the fourth one, the fifth one, I was just like, I've been playing this for so many. It's the same thing with Call of Duty. I played. I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, this is the same shit I was
Watch the
playing how
banging.
many years. This is just the same thing over and over.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and 6 wasn't much better. Like
No.
they got a little better with the weapon customization, but it did not feel like a Far Cry game.
My first time playing through 6, I thought 5 graphics was better
Oh,
until
yeah.
I compared it both. Like, damn, 6 did really do
6
good,
did
though.
bring it up a little bit, but like the story was cool, but the ending of it was very disappointing. I'm not gonna put any
Garbage.
spoilers,
Especially
out
when
there
they got
just in case.
Giancarlo
Yeah, that's the
Esposito,
only- that's the
motherfucker.
only
Yeah,
reason
and they had
people will
Giancarlo
play.
Esposito.
But the
like,
ending was so garbage,
yeah, like
dude.
ending was extremely disappointing compared to
spoilers.
any of the others. I'm not
No
gonna put any
spoilers?
spoilers out there because I'm not a dickhead.
We already spoiled Red Dead though.
I mean,
It's been out since 2018. If you haven't fucking played
game
that,
is 5 years old. Far Cry 6 came out in like 2021.
Spoilers, bro. Come on. Now.
Whatever.
well, spoiler warning. Fuck you.
Spoiler warning. Fuck you. But then there's just some of the gameplay things that didn't add up. Like, what the fuck were those backpacks? Those superpowered
Oh,
backpacks.
yeah.
that you got.
Okay, I was so
What the
confused. You threw
What the frick frack fuck was that in
it's
6?
ultimate ability. Bro.
I know. I don't need an ultimate ability in Far Cry. I just need to be a badass that
Exactly.
knows how to shoot people.
Exactly.
That's
And-
all you need. And Far Cry's and all of the
Dude.
original Far Cry games were a mix between mayhem and stealth.
They were good for their time because they're the first to do it.
Mm.
This is fair. I can't argue with that.
The way I look at because like sometimes you like play a game and you're like, this was so good, and you keep playing and you're like, what's happening? I feel like it's because it
You wanna
didn't
get
make
closer to your
the
mic.
initial experience any worse. Like the initial experience is always amazing, and it's because you got to experience a thing that happened for the first time. And I think
Yeah.
that'll always be good. It doesn't matter if it gets bad over time, but I just think that's
See,
why.
I
They were
think,
good.
I think if you just polish some of the finer things that you did in an old game and just kind of revamp the story in a different way, I think you can do something different every time and just keep it very simple.
People will buy it.
And
No matter if you do
it's
it,
absolutely
if
thing.
you
And
do
the
that
thing is,
or
I
not,
can't
people will
be mad
still buy
about
it.
that
We have seen it
because
with remasters.
because you will, as most
Yo,
people
I
will
bought
argue,
the fucking PS5 remastered of Last of Us. That shit was worth it. It was
Absolutely.
$60. Worth it. Also, you want a real life adaptation of game being a movie? Last of Us, right there. There you go.
Absolutely. I will say
Being
this
a
without a doubt.
art.
Though will never
Art.
be a better comparison side by side for a video game and a show.
Dude,
I have never
none.
seen. I have never seen. I have
I
never
loved
seen.
it.
I have never
So
seen
good.
a show stick.
I actually didn't get to finish it yet.
Oh,
So let's
I
say
highly
anything, then.
recommend it. I will
I know
say
how it
this
goes,
for a
but
fact.
I don't
I will
know the
never
details.
see another show do as well as a comparison in side by side contrast as Last of Us did with their show and game.
And if anything,
Because
this is a level that other games that turns into shows has to match up to.
absolutely
And movies.
They
Yeah.
literally
They set the
raised-
high bar.
They did. They set the new bar for how you need to get to that place in order to do a little bit better. Because I, for one, played the game and then watched the show simultaneously. I played about half the game, started the show, and then played
Damn.
through the rest of the game as I finished the show.
But you played the game already, right?
Yes, I had
Okay.
played the game multiple times already before that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just for kind of refresh my memory and
Yeah,
do it
for
side
sure.
by side, it nothing compares. There were literal conversations in the game that were carried over word
course.
for word in the show.
Yes. Shot selection,
Shot
certain
selection,
scenes.
where
Oh my
where
God.
they were being held, the people interacting within the scene itself.
Marlene returned.
They
Come on now.
couldn't have done a better job. The only thing that they changed, and I absolutely adored the change that they did for it, was the story of Bill and Frank.
Oh my god, that was such a good episode.
That episode made me cry. I'm not even ashamed to admit it, because you do see like the relationship between Bill and Frank grow.
You
throughout
didn't
the
get that in the
entire
game.
You don't get that in the game. All you get is that Bill's partner Frank died,
Yeah.
And he doesn't like Bill anymore.
and he just doesn't like anything anymore. He just doesn't fucking care.
It's like, I hated you. You been getting me in this goddamn prison for a while now. So I'm gonna kill myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then there's that slight change in the show.
Beautifully expanded.
It was like a
upon.
movie. Allie and I literally, this was like its own little movie where like this like little storyline. It was perfect, like adding to the plot.
That's what also
like,
kind of
Adding to the universe.
That's what
Yeah.
also kind of made me a little bit salty about the outburst that happened about the show having that hard of a gay
that's just
couple in the show. it said they had mentioned in the game multiple times that Frank and Bill were partners.
Mhm.
He himself, Bill, says that my partner Frank died.
Which is crazy
And
too,
then
because one of the most
It's less
highly
ambiguous.
It kind of is, but then you also have the scene where Ellie literally pulls out a porn mag of gay men in the car.
It's
Yeah.
just implied.
It's implied, but it's very hard implied to the point where it's almost staring you in the face.
I mean,
So
most.
And to
that's
think,
why I
you
never
can
understood.
figure. There's
Yeah,
enough there to figure it out.
absolutely.
pretty
That's why I
easily.
never understood the outburst.
it's so
about
crazy
it.
because Last of Us literally came out in like 2013 for him to face this big of a hurdle.
Yeah.
Big of a hurdle at that time to like push the LGBTQ community forward.
Mhm.
Dude, that's praising. That's a praiseworthy
Oh yeah,
type of
and
accomplishment.
like, in the show itself, Bill and Frank have a absolutely beautiful relationship. Like just the way that their dynamic works off of each other is absolutely fantastic.
To be like Bill can do it his way, and some people might understand why he does it this way.
Yep.
But the way that Frank comes in and kind of adds on to like decorations and all that around that shit.
Well,
It's a waste of supplies. He's like, but you gotta make it
is
look
the
nice. It's gotta be
sandpaper
worth
that
it.
Frank is the sandpaper that helps rough out Bill's rough edges.
Well,
Oh,
Frank
yeah.
also introduced him to trading, and he never would have.
Yep.
I don't think Bill would have ever traded if it wasn't for
I
Frank.
don't think they
He
would have
ever,
survived
never would
as
have.
long as-
Every person is gun on you. Go away, and if you don't go away, you're gonna get shot.
And honestly, in that kind of world environment, you wouldn't last as long as you would without trade.
I mean, that's how it
Even
works.
even in the small arms
Frank
trade
met
that
Joel
Bill
and
would have
Tess
done-
that way too.
Yeah,
He was the
exactly.
one that linked them together. Came up with the fucking dope ass song codes.
Yep.
Such a smart idea,
Dude, they had a whole little trading system going on,
Absolutely
dude.
So
fantastic.
smart.
I adore that show. Every
So
bit of it.
smart.
If you haven't watched it, I
The
highly
game.
And
recommend
Ellie
it.
is
The
so damn
game.
smart because she freaking caught
The
that
game,
shit.
dude.
She's
We
like,
gotta give
so
the
why do
game
you have the
credentials.
80s up here? Does that
This
mean
started
something
as
like,
a
wait, what the
game.
fuck?
We got to give the game some love too,
Like,
though,
Oh,
because
I,
like,
I have to
art.
give love
The
to
building-
everything about it.
everything about the show was made great because of the game.
Yep.
You wouldn't have
The
the
game
show without
started.
the game.
Yep.
So play the game, watch the show, do both, and just support it as its entirety. Because
Play the
it's
game
fantastic.
first. The game's amazing.
Troy
That
Baker's
remaster
amazing.
Good. Yes.
It's basically a fucking movie.
And
man.
honestly,
Here's the real
Unbelievable.
I
question.
also have to say this. I
Last of
myself
Us
feel
2.
they couldn't have done a better job with the casting in that show.
At first, I was confused.
they nailed it. They definitely nailed it.
Right
I
off
was-
the bat,
at first, I was
absolutely
kind of-
getting
We will
everything.
get to that.
I was kind of hesitant
Yes.
on the Ellie casting, but when I started watching it, I was like,
No, she
damn, dude,
she
she's really,
she does it
she really
amazing.
is
You
Ellie,
saw the
dude.
persona and
Yeah.
the character
Dude,
and
you
the,
felt it.
the acting and everything. It's just like, yeah,
Well,
that's Ellie.
it
I
also
forget the
helps
name
that
of her
if you-
character in Game of Thrones, but she was amazing.
Lady
in that as well.
Mormont.
Yeah,
She was
badass.
awesome.
Yeah.
Little
I
Miss
believe-
Little Miss Lady Mormont, the badass little
Yeah.
12-year-old girl that kills a fucking zombie giant.
Nice.
Cause why not? She unfortunately she does get twisted
Yeah.
in half and slammed against the ground.
Nice.
But she does take
Not
out a
nice.
damn giant.
Nicer.
So
Game of
she,
Thrones is so good.
she's such a
Game
badass
of
little
Thrones
bitch
is
in that
so
show.
good.
Rip Game of Thrones, bro.
Honestly,
Rip Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Game
So
of
what were you gonna
Thrones.
say?
I was gonna say Last of Us 2. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of it? Now that you
Have-
look
Okay,
back
so-
on it, look at it.
Have
Spoilers for
not
Last of Us 2.
played it.
Are you?
I don't give a shit about spoilers. I
Okay,
know
so
everything
spoilers
about
for Last of Us 2. It might be going
Wait,
on to
when
the
did Last of
season
Us 2 come out?
2018ish.
2018,
it. No,
2019.
20-ish.
It was later than that. I thought it was 2020. I'm gonna Google that.
Yeah,
might be
Google
20.
it.
It's
But
2019.
anyway, spoilers
Ghost
just
of
in case
Tsushima came
that.
out that same year.
Just in
Ghost
case.
of Tsushima.
Oh, my,
Dude,
hold
there's
on,
gonna be a Ghost of Tsushima movie, bro. Oh my god!
Yeah, and did you hear the rumor? The guy that did the mocap and voice acting for Jin Sakai wants to play Jin Sakai
And
in
the,
the movie
the
itself.
director for John Wick is doing it.
Yeah, I also heard. Yeah,
What the
Oh yeah!
oh, you'd best believe that's gonna be a damn good movie.
Dude,
Also,
yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 came out June 19th, 2020.
Oh,
Fuck.
nice.
Called it.
It's okay. But
I
but
knew- I
anyways,
knew it came out during the peak of COVID because
That
it
is-
was
yeah,
one of
that
the
is
things that
true.
kept people alive during that because everybody
No, it
thought we were
didn't.
gonna fucking die.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, we did. 'Cause there was
That game was fucking depressing. It didn't keep people alive at all.
yeah, that's
That
because
game was
everybody thought,
amazing.
everybody thought
That game
COVID was
was
gonna
amazing.
evolve
Hey,
into
maybe-
it. And we were gonna die.
There is one thing that can be said about that game that going through that game, it really puts you through a feeling of fucking despair and like just like confusion when you're playing the game.
Dude.
So many mixed emotions, and I think that's exactly what they were going for.
Probably.
As game directors to just cause this kind of feeling, and like a lot of people didn't like it because you don't play games to feel this type of way. You don't play games to fucking feel like shit. Why would you do that? Like, right? And this game is putting you into such like horrific situations and then showing you the other side, and then you're just playing.
First off,
through it.
hold on. First off, let me address this though. Spoiler warning for Last of Us Part 2. The game wise, it might be leaked into season 2 of Last of Us of the HBO series.
Damn.
But just in case, spoiler warning.
There is a good chance of that, but I could also see them kind of driving
Just switching it, right? Because of how controversial. Or they might just stick with it and be like, fuck you guys, let's see how the natural audience of theater lovers watch this.
HBO,
They could probably pace it better.
They could probably push the envelope pretty hard because it is an HBO production. I mean,
I feel like they should.
You do have scenes in Game of Thrones where you literally do see brothers and sisters fucking.
Fuck it.
So
That's literally episode 1, right?
Like,
I am watching tonight.
You see,
I am
Theon
watching
banging a
tonight.
prostitute on the first episode. You see freaking Cersei and Jamie.
You
And then
see-
you see a child thrown out of a window.
I'm definitely watching tonight. It's on my watch
things
list
I
right
do
now.
for long
an 10-year-old boy catches a brother and sister fucking in a tower. Next thing you know,
The
his brother's
things-
pushing a kid out of a window
He
in
says
order
the
to keep it
things I
hidden.
do
So,
for love.
Yeah, things I do for love. There you go.
That's literally what he says.
What a garbage.
He
character
literally
arc.
goes through one of the best character arcs in that show.
No, he doesn't. He does, and then he doesn't.
He
No,
does and he
he does
doesn't. He
not.
goes
His
so back
character
and
got-
forth. It's
He
ridiculous.
does great until he
eventually-
fucking doesn't.
He goes great, and then he eventually goes back to Cersei, and then you want to stab him with
What a
his own
fucking
sword.
dumbass.
His death made sense because
That's a
Cersei was
motherfucking Romeo
always
and Juliet
the
type
thing
shit.
It
that was.
didn't though. Why are you gonna fuck a babe like Brianna Tarth and then go back to your evil
No,
cunt of a sister?
I mean his death made sense in the fact that his whole thing that always kept him going back to like evil or bad decision, what I want to say. You could always say it was Cersei based, and then it makes sense that his death would be by Cersei.
I mean, it makes sense,
It
but it
is-
also, why would you want to
So
go back
convoluted,
to the person that you
though.
would just
You know,
turn down?
I agree. They threw it away because he was progressing, and then they're like,
He
okay,
literally
he didn't
peaked.
progress.
Can we
peaked
also-
to helping fucking
Can,
defend
can we also
Winterfell,
just
dude?
talk
Come
about the
on.
fact that Cersei's death was
Yeah, also underwhelming.
so underwhelming?
Death by
it
rubble.
made me angry. Like,
Really?
it physically
See,
made me
this-
angry.
Yeah, she
with
got
how
an easy death.
unsatisfying her death
She
was.
got an easy death.
What do you guys think about recommending Game of Thrones to new people? Because it's like
I'm a new
it is
person.
so
I've never watched Game of
good at
Thrones.
So many parts,
There's
but then you realize it doesn't fucking go anywhere at the end. All of it was for nothing, basically.
See, I can't say that because we don't have any of the spin-offs yet to see how some of people's
House of the
stories
Dragon's
ends.
out. I don't know how that
House
is.
of the Dragon is
I
out,
didn't
but
watch
that
that.
isn't continuation of anybody's story
I guess it is a
from the
prequel.
actual show. It's a prequel, so you're only getting background knowledge from before what happens. I want to see what happens to Jon.
What a sad.
Give me a
show.
story about what happens to Jon Snow when he goes back up to living at the Wall. Give me a story about Arya when she's expanding out to go explore
Toby!
west. Give me a story of Sansa when she is now the Queen of the North and broken off from the main 7 kingdoms.
Nah.
Give me
Star Wars, baby.
Not by Disney, unfortunately. I do want more Star Wars, but not by Disney.
Survivor, baby.
I only want Star Wars if it's
I
done
do
by
need to
John
play
Favreau.
Survivor. It's PC
Jedi
launch was ass
Survivor.
though. I heard. I know. I watched.
I only want more
Voice
Star
Critical
Wars if
streaming
it's
it,
done
and it
by
was
my man John
absolute
Favreau.
the
He,
frame
in my
rate.
eyes, he is the man that has resurrected the Star Wars universe. He is the one that gave us.
How are those Disney Plus shows? Are they any good? Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, I heard was absolutely
The Bad-
fantastic.
Bad
I watched.
Batch,
I heard
all
Bad
that-
Batch
all
was
that other stuff.
awesome, and I will also confirm that The Mandalorian is fantastic. It's literally like
I think I watched 2 seasons.
It's the equivalent of a Star Wars Western, but it's fantastic with just how the storytelling is progressed. But they also have a way of actually tying in the continuity the way that the new trilogy didn't. Everything in the timeline is still kept right.
Mm.
Everything isn't fucked up. It's just, kept in a straight line the way that the storyline should be. And actually, you can see you don't have plot holes in it the way that the new trilogy did. Why are Rey and Kylo falling in love? Like, what the fuck? Like, what? You wanted to murder each other in the first movie, and now at the end of the movie, you all trying to bang. Like, what's
That
what's
made
going
no
on here?
sense.
No sense
Her
whatsoever.
and Finn made
Also,
way more sense. That was
and they hoed Finn too.
Who the fuck is Snook?
Give him
Why
a
do I care
lightsaber.
about this guy that
Snook.
looks like a nutsack on a? Why do I care about a guy that looks like a nutsack on a neck?
He looks like
Snooky
a
wants nuts in it.
He does look like a dehydrated ball sack.
Yeah,
He does.
no,
Like,
he
I don't
looks
care about
terrible.
him. I don't care about you.
He's like a shriveled right testicle.
No, yeah, he's terrible.
Anyways,
No, you're right.
let's get back into The Last of Us Part 2 because we kind of drifted off. Because I can't connect with the Game of Thrones. I can't connect
fair
with
enough.
Stone. I don't
Holy
like that
fuck!
shit.
Yeah, we just really drifted off.
It's just how it goes.
It's okay though. I like to talk. It's funny because you guys are having fun.
Yeah, though. Last of Us 2, it was super emotional, and I understand why. Like, if you're a casual fan and what you got from the first game is not what you get from the second game. It is a complete different experience, a different theme, different end result that just leaves you feeling so fucking empty.
I think it also just shows the side of
But I think that's the point.
Yeah.
I think The Last of Us Part 2
to really put you in Ellie's shoes.
It shows you the side of the story where you kind of see the hope kind of die.
That's a good way to put it.
Because
from a fan's perspective?
From any kind of perspective.
Okay.
Yes,
no. When watching it or playing...
Because there's a duality to the game.
If you're watching a playthrough of it or playing the first game, you kind of have this sense of hope that everything is going to be okay by the time you get to the end of the game. And the second one...
Joel's a bad guy.
Yes, exactly. But you don't know that until you hit the end of the game.
You know that from the beginning.
Yes and no. He's done some bad stuff, but he himself is not a bad guy.
But That's fair.
That's tough.
You put me into an apocalypse situation, you best believe that some of my moral code is going right out the window based on survival.
He admits he's a bad guy, though.
He himself calls him a bad guy. Everybody else around him says he is a good guy that has done some bad shit. Those are two very different things.
Unless you're like that kid that he pops in, like in the show.
That's fair. But you also have to remember that kid was infected.
Wait, which kid?
Sam?
Oh, wait. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. What kid are you talking about?
What kid are you talking about?
The first episode?
No, there's that scene in like the third episode where they're in the city and then some kid sneaks up on fucking Joel. And then Ellie has to save him, and then he basically.
Oh, the one that almost guts Ellie? I mean, yeah, I would have done the same thing. When you have a
But
dad.
see, look, no. Here's why part 2 works though. Because you're so biased into Joel's perspective. That's why part 2 works, because it completely throws that shit out the fucking window.
See, this is fair.
He's only the good guy from your perspective.
I see it. No,
you need to play part 2.
In that situation, he's absolutely a bad guy. But you also have to remember, in a building dad-daughter dynamic like that,
you need to play part 2.
I do. I absolutely do.
Because you see. That feeling gets fucking thrown out the window, and then it's hard. It's horrible.
Joel's done some bad shit. It doesn't mean that in that first game
everyone's
he's a bad guy.
Done bad shit.
Absolutely, but that doesn't mean everybody's a bad person.
I would say,
but who gets to decide?
Would you consider him? Would you consider him?
Evil is in the eye of the beholder.
It is. Well, but when you are playing the first game with no context from the second, Joel is a good guy that has done some bad shit. In that particular scene, he lets his rage get the better of him because you are now seeing a daughter-dad dynamic.
That's only from his perspective, but it's just like if everyone else is
that's
like, "Damn, bro."
If
this little girl dies, maybe none of us have to fucking die.
What about Ellie's perspective? She's about to get gutted by this one dude that she doesn't fucking know, and for all that they know, she is the savior of the entirety of the world. So at that time in being, Joel is a good guy protecting the girl that could be the savior of the world.
You only feel this way because you haven't played part 2.
I can guarantee you that. But if I have context from part 2, I can guarantee you that my argument would change.
What is your argument? That Joel's. I mean,
you think
Joel's a good guy?
I'm not saying
Joel's a good guy.
Not in its entirety. In the first game.
Just in general, he's a bad guy.
I know, but
I would say
he's
better in the second game in the beginning of it.
Within the context of
of
the
course,
because
he's gone through his character arc in the first game.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah,
he starts off as a bad guy, and then through his journey with Ellie,
the second game.
he becomes.
No, he didn't play the second game.
Loving guardian angel that you're fucking holding to a monument.
He hasn't played the second game, so this is going to be hard for him to understand.
Yes,
no matter what.
So we don't need to go too deep.
I would say the second game isn't even about Joel, and it's not about Ellie, or it's not about Abby. I wouldn't say the story is about, or not the story is obviously about those specific people, but the overarching. The message what it's supposed to mean, or the theme is revenge. It's the revenge plot. It's trying to show that there's like the cycle of it. There's going to be this constant hunting of who killed who. You killed in that kind of scenario, you're going to be killing people.
A wise man.
Now that I'm rehashing,
has a family, friends. Like there's another perspective to what happens.
Now that I'm rehashing,
that person
the game
doesn't
in my
know
head,
why you did. All they see is another person in the wild killing them, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, you killed my friend. They have no idea who you are. To them, you're now the evilest person. And if you keep going hunting for them and you keep doing this, you'll keep this
it's a cycle of
hate for them.
Yep.
Because Ellie saw Abby kill Joel. All she thinks is this person's evil, not knowing that in reality, Joel killed Abby's dad.
Yeah.
So us as the viewers, we're biased because we played through Joel and Ellie's perspective.
Yeah.
We didn't see Abby's. The second one's supposed to show you this is what happened to her. See her perspective. Some people were like, I can't take this. You got to reject it. Some people are like, holy
Because
fuck.
they're too biased.
Yep.
Yeah.
They can't get over what she did
Yes.
to Joel.
And this all about.
And it's like, fuck her.
And I don't
They're
think
hard
the
in the
hope
fuck
Do you
dies.
think? Do you
I
also think it's the
story-
boy that Joel went out to enrage fans?
Well, no, it was because it was fucking leaked too. So
Yeah.
it was
I
literally.
think that was one of the
it
biggest
was
things
leaked
that
like
it
a
was
month
leaked.
before the
Yeah,
game came out.
the
And
leak, I
fans-
think the
and
leak is really
in
what
all
did
serious-
it too.
and-
Yeah.
the
in
fans
reality-
literally just left such a piss poor taste.
Now that
in
I'm
people's mouths.
rehashing the first game in my head, you kind of just see Joel kind of fluctuate on the moral compass in a sense. Because at first you know that he's done some really bad, gnarly shit in order to survive to get to the point where he's at. I'm sorry, in an apocalyptic world like this, you don't survive 20 years.
It's very you
and make it
understand
to
why he's like
mid-50s
that.
by doing some good shit. You just don't.
No.
Yeah, you survive 20 years in an apocalypse. You've got to have done.
Oh
some
yeah, you've got to do some
wild,
fuck
crazy
shit. Absolutely,
You'd believe
there's absolutely nothing that you could have think of that he would have done. But then you see him kind of fluctuate into that good side of things
Mhm.
when he starts to feel for Ellie again, kind of getting his dad instincts back after losing his daughter.
Yeah.
But then you also see him kind of abuse that power towards the end of the game when he's like, "Oh, Ellie's gonna die if you do this. Okay, everybody dies instead of her."
Yeah. Well,
Because that's kind of the turning point. Because what's more morally sound? Do you let this girl die for the chance of saving the world, or do you kill this room full of doctors and possibly put the world into jeopardy for the sake of this one girl?
that's a philosophy question.
That is a very big
That is
philosophy
a big
question. Now you are
philosophy
asking a deeper
question.
question within yourself.
Yeah.
And
You wanna twist it?
because we've
There you
seen
go.
Joel's perspective from the very
It's
beginning
gonna
of the
have a bump
game,
twist
it's
it.
like you saw how losing his daughter fucking crushes his world, and then to have it happen again for the world
And
that hasn't
honestly,
done shit
that's
for him.
That's probably his
It's a hard
motivation.
ask.
That's probably the motivation of why he does so much bad shit in the future anyway, because he just doesn't have anything to fight for anymore, so he doesn't care.
Exactly.
He doesn't care about fighting for himself anymore. His life is dead because his daughter is dead.
Yeah.
That's why he's taking the risk that he does.
So that's why he doesn't give a
It's
shit.
either to
anymore.
take the full risk to get a bigger
But now that
bag, or
he's
just
now that he is gaining a dynamic back and a daughter and like that dad feeling of protecting Ellie, now he has something to fight for again,
Yeah.
and now he's
Yep.
going to do some fuck shit even more so in order to keep that. 'Cause
I
he
mean,
doesn't
y'all
want to
already
lose
seen it in that torture
now.
scene, dude. Oh, that's such a badass
That's that
scene.
evil, dude. That's that evil. Like he's not
'Cause-
objectively good or bad because he
Exactly,
does both good
'cause
and bad
now
things.
you have to compare it to other characters, and the only other character that you could compare doing evil and good deeds for, Kratos from God of War. That dude,
Their character
that-
arcs are pretty similar.
They are, because he literally goes through like he's trying to be a soldier to protect the entirety of Sparta and protect his homeland, protect his daughter, mom, or daughter and wife, whatever. Then goes through the power struggle of not being able to do that, and then sells his soul to Ares, and then does a lot of more fuck shit, ends up killing his family. That whole spiel.
The whole Norse shit is kind of convoluted, though.
The Norse
I
shit
ain't
is a
gonna
little
lie.
convoluted. It really is, because Norse mythology is just a very big loop in a sense, because it literally is a birth and re-death story to its finer details.
Well, fuck it. It worked for me.
It worked
I
for me
liked
too,
it
man.
too,
I love
yeah.
that shit. You get into the deeper continuities of Norse mythology, and you start to break your mind a little bit, and you're like, whoa.
Wait a minute.
Well,
Jormungandr was from the future? What?
When you kind of think about it, Norse mythology is the first kind of basis that you would have for multiverse. Because the Yggdrasil tree exists on all planes,
Oh, yeah.
but all of the planes exist on a different plane of existence.
I would like to point out that actually Hinduism is.
Yep. Oh, that's fair too. But
Hinduism
I
is.
couldn't remember which one was older, Hinduism.
Hinduism
or
is also the oldest written
religion.
religion.
Well, I don't think it's
Really?
Yes.
Actually, is it considered a religion or is it considered a belief system? The same way that Buddhism
technically
is.
it is considered a religion, and yes, it is. So Hinduism has the oldest sacred text that we have of inscribed in something.
Technically,
The oldest like sacred religious texts, like the oldest ones we have.
Damn.
are
if we
Hindu
had any
scriptures.
ancient Sumerian, that would beat it out. But unfortunately, that would been lost to history
But yeah,
and time and fuck world.
Damn. That's insane.
Hinduism is really crazy.
It's stupid old. But then how many more religions are based off of that in of itself is the question too.
True.
Because now you have to ask that age old question. But that's a
We
whole
should
other-
not get into
we should.
religion.
We should
I don't-
me and Marcus will never shut up.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Hinduism isn't too. There's the bad thing about Hinduism.
Oh God,
if
I thought we were not getting into it.
Is the caste system.
He goes, let's not get into it. Well, the bad thing about Hinduism.
the only real big bad thing is the caste system that comes in play with
is it because like it's like you're shit out of luck this life, you'll reincarnate into something different?
I don't exactly remember.
It's kind of the good karma, bad karma juju situation. Whatever kind of karma you put into the world is the karma you get back into the next life. In a basis term,
What is dharma?
karma.
Isn't that also dharma?
Well,
Yes, you're
it
wrong, fucking
depends on
dude.
the sect of Hinduism too. That's why I'm personally trying to remember the specifics for Hinduism in general and not try to mess it up and confuse it with something else. I haven't been studied in Eastern religion since junior year of high school. So
How long ago was that, old man? 82 years ago?
2017. So
6
years ago.
Shit, fucking old boys.
But no,
Not that
Hinduism's
old.
cool.
Not that
I like
old.
Hinduism.
Age is a
Hinduism's
mindset.
What were we doing junior year? The Van Gang.
What was I doing?
Bang gang!
What was I doing junior year? Trying not to. Fucking
I was skipping a lot of
hurt people.
school.
Yeah, I was skipping school.
Same.
I was being a good noodle. I promise.
I don't think you ever went to a consistent week of school throughout the first 3 years, Marcus.
Senior year is really when I started skipping. Junior year I didn't really skip too much because that's when I was living in Shawn and Stacy. So, but senior year is really bad.
I just want to introduce you to pho, bro.
Genuinely, yeah.
I put Marcus on a pho for the first time. It was my favorite meal.
Literally, like at least once a week for so long, dude. So long. I was like, why couldn't someone tell me about this?
This man was
before? Who
addicted
was
for a
lying to me?
while.
I served
It was
this
a real
man up in
It
his
was a real
car, bro.
problem.
I literally brought his ass a bowl, and they like
Yeah.
parked in my fucking back,
Yep.
and I brought him a fucking bowl.
I
and
was
they
the
tried
passenger.
What the
it. They
fuck?
literally had the bowl like sitting in like the fucking what is that, the middle compartment right there,
Mhm.
and they're just sitting there eating, and they're like, "Oh my fucking god, this is amazing!" And I was like, "Yes, dude."
I'm
this
not
shit-
gonna lie.
This is the shit.
I'm not gonna lie. That bowl of fun. This could be because it's my first. It was my, but still to this day, I feel like it was the best bowl of fun I've had.
See, I think I had to
Damn.
I had to dress it
My
up a
heart
little
broke.
bit for
Shot-
you too.
Dude, just shooting Luke
A
in the
little.
heart real quick.
No, it was his
Okay,
first.
that's-
It was his
that's against
first.
his
It
mama.
was his first experience. and
That's
it was
against
my
his
mother.
mama. I can't compete.
I think what he means to say it's his most memorable.
Yeah.
As
That
against
makes
his
sense.
mama, I
That
can't
makes
compete
sense.
against
That's
his
what I
mama.
mean.
Dude.
It could be because
invokes
it's my
the
first.
warmest
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
in your mind. Like, oh my god.
It could be because it was my first. You know what I mean? Like that's why I was like, oh my god, this is so
The
good.
experience. You were having that. You were having that ratatouille idea.
Watching all the colors fly
Yeah,
around in his
clothes,
mind for a minute.
goddamn orange, red, little bit of
it
beef
was
paste.
so good, dude. You came in clutch with that, Adam. Hell yeah.
That was crazy. That was awesome.
I still have yet to try the new ramen place in town.
Tochi's?
Yeah.
What?
Delicious.
Dude, I
was
work every day of
slacking.
my life. Work 2 to 10
What
every
did you
single
get?
day and try and do stuff like
I don't even know what I got. That was a long time ago.
You got to get the beef maziman. Oh my god.
beef maziman.
You know that ramen place kind of introduced me
I
to
got
making
the
my own
udon. I
ramen
like
because I
the
know I could
udon.
do better.
Damn.
Damn.
You like what better?
Throwing shade out
He
here.
makes his own ramen.
Yeah,
I like
'cause
the udon.
eating
though.
at
Udon
that
is
place,
super
it
good.
kind of made me want to make my own ramen.
You're
'cause
like, damn,
think
I could do this better.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that I totally feel that though, because me and my brother, we went out to eat in Milwaukee at a ramen and sushi joint, and they served us a bowl of, I think it's tonkatsu ramen.
Yeah,
It's-
tonkatsu.
It's pork broth ramen.
That's
Sounds
that's
really
a
good.
very common
And
ramen.
I can
Bro,
say that the
it
best
lit-
ramen.
It literally tasted like mama, bro. Like mama noodles, bro.
what?
I literally was sipping the broth. I was like, dude, I swear to God, this tastes like mama. Me and my brother looked at each other like eye to eye, and we're like, bro, like, we can buy a box of this shit for the same price we paid for these
Dude,
noodles.
that's.
I don't know if it's because we were
Do you
spoiled.
remember
because
what Mama? We're
yeah,
eating tastes like?
I still get mama noodles. What do you mean,
I
bro?
was gonna say because
See,
you
yeah,
should remember
we
because my
grew
mom
up
made
eating
that
that
whole big pot full at my house, my old house.
Dude, she
That
used
shit
to
was
make
good.
like
Eggs.
breakfast with eggs.
delicious.
Yeah,
dude,
that shit was
bacon.
fire,
Uh-huh,
Dude, that
uh-huh.
was so good. Dude.
Yeah.
After the mixers, we were done drinking a bunch of energy drinks. That I should
Dude,
not
we were
have
drinking
been
Monsters.
Dude, that was so
Monsters.
me with the heart problem,
Gross.
drinking energy drinks, bro.
Dude, it was to the point where
I
the
felt so
monsters
cool.
Y'all
on the.
just shot me back to the days when I used to hang out at PJ's and drink Monsters there. And
Oh
thought
my
I was the coolest
God.
kid
I
PJs.
felt so
Are you
cool
skating?
doing
Oh
that.
God, I hated it so
Were you
much.
skating, bro?
No,
I used to go to
hanging out
PJ's.
with
I actually
stupid
never
people.
been there. I
I've
did
only
not
been there
ever
once.
go
It
there.
was nothing special.
It definitely seemed like some WPS. So I
It was
never went.
it was 100% the bar in air quotes for the middle schoolers of our time.
It's so true.
Like it's so stupid.
That's
It's
so
such
true.
it's such a stupid comparison. But when I look at it now, being a bartender and
hanging
looking
out
back
at
on
the
those
soda
days,
bar.
I'm like, holy fucking crap!
What would you like today?
That place.
I want
bad.
a green monster and a pepperoni pizza, and I felt like the most badass motherfucker there, and I
They're
don't
like,
understand.
dude, Sally's standing by the soda fountain. Go talk to her. Wow.
Damn, I've only been there once.
It wasn't. It's nothing special.
You know what I miss?
It's a
Playing
roller skating
basketball.
rink?
We need
It's a
to play
roller skating
basketball.
Let's get it!
Boys.
Let's
I
get
hate
it.
you.
The weather
I don't like
sucks
going
right
against
now.
you.
Fuck you mean? I've been wearing a long sleeve.
Come
like,
through to the
since I
Y,
got
bro.
back.
I need to
Huh?
go to the Y more too.
Come through to the Y, bro.
I've been thinking
We
about
can hit the
getting a
sauna,
membership
bro.
there.
Some super.
Ooh.
Yeah. They got a hot tub in there too. but-
Ooh.
What the fuck?
Dude, they have a whole ass
I don't
setup
know.
in there.
Is it-
Really?
Oh yeah, they got
I
a
haven't
pool,
been
hot,
there
they
in
got a
so
pool,
long.
hot
Is the
tub,
hot tub
sauna,
clean?
weight room, whole shit. Whole
I
shebang.
don't really use the hot tub personally.
I have not been in the Y pool since I was a kid. I don't remember what age, but like really young, and it's because I always hated it because I always thought it like tasted like pee if I ever got water in my mouth. So I remember I hated it, dude. I
What
hated
the
it. You know,
fuck?
I stopped going so young. I
The
was like,
chemical.
dude, my
the
family
chemical
were like, we're
taste of
going
the
to
pool
have it
water
on
is
good.
gross.
I also didn't learn how to swim until I was like in middle school. I forget like
I didn't
sixth
learn how to
grade.
swim till high school,
Yeah.
and I can only swim across the pool.
I was so
like if I'm
scared
out in
of
the ocean,
water.
bro. If I'm out in the ocean, like fucking stranded, I'm dead. I'm like floating for like 10 seconds. and
I'm
then a
not gonna
wave
lie,
comes and it
that's
smashes
like one of
me
the
and I'm fucking dead.
That's one of the big dumb things that I remember from high school is making a fucking flotation device out of your pants
Your
during
jeans?
sim class.
It has to
was
be
the dumb
jeans.
thing?
The most
That's clutch,
uncomfortable.
dude. What do
I
you
was like,
mean?
I know, but when am I
I-
ever gonna be in a
Dude,
situation
you're talking
where I'm
about
gonna
the
do
synchronized
this?
swimming was
The
the
most-
dumber.
the
We
most-
had a synchronized swimming unit
I
in
literally-
gym
I-
high
I'm
school.
talking
I
about-
skipped gym class.
I'm talking
for
that
so
out of
I
pocket
agree,
thing.
Marcus.
I'm talking about the out of pocket thing that I remember, and that's like information that you might have to use.
Dude,
when the
the-
fuck am I, as a big dude, ever gonna need to do?
It's the
synchronized
most
swimming?
uncomfortable.
Dude.
You have to wear skinny jeans or just jeans in general in water, heavy as fuck, and you have to fucking wrap it up, get some air, tie the fucking legs together.
Yeah, that's clutch,
And
though.
then
You
just-
never
and
know.
then
You
we'll
can,
get
hey,
the
you
device.
never
basically do
know.
it with any kind of pants, but they say that jeans is the best because they know how to seal the water in better because of how tight how tight knit the thread. and
But
fabric
it's
is.
so bad wearing
It's
jeans
so
underwater.
uncomfortable. The instant
Yeah.
you hit the
I
water,
mean, wet
your-
clothes in general
your
sucks.
nuts just chafe, and it's the most
It went-
uncomfortable thing. It shrinks up into nothing but a brain, and then it just feels like sandpaper grinding up against the thread, and it's just not fun.
Yeah, dude. It's
Yeah,
horrible.
dude.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah, dude, it's
absolutely
garbage.
MMA fight.
horrendous.
It's an MMA fight, dude.
It's MMA fight, dude. Grab
Grab
a
his
stick
dick
and
and
twist
twist
it, bro.
it.
Well, anyways, guys, we're gonna take our first break,
Awesome.
and we'll see you
I'm
guys
gonna
in a
drink
bit.
some water.
This podcast is brought to you by Duke's Tints LLC. With summer slowly coming upon us and the sun showing off its powerful heat rays, your car seats are probably going to be torched. Aren't you tired of getting that feeling? Walking out of your apartment or house, seeing the beautiful sky, trying to experience the outdoors, you open your car door and feel the wave of the heat captured within your vehicle blowing your face off. Then you sit down on your seats and you burn your beautiful buns off. Now, what you need to do to prevent all of that is to get your windows tinted by Duke's Tints LLC. Duke's Tints LLC is an automotive window tinting service with over 6+ years of experience with 5-star ratings and reviews. So if you're located in Dane County, Wisconsin, or if you're not afraid to travel, Duke's Tints LLC offers service that provides you the best and pristine quality of tint applied to your windows. Now, for my lovely BeeHole bandits, if you head to Duke's Tints LLC's Facebook page, dial 608-217-5773, or visit their building located 4102 Lien Road, Suite D, Madison, Wisconsin, and set up an appointment. For a limited time, use code BeeHole Podcast to receive $40 off your next window tint service. You heard me, $40 freaking off. Get that sexy looking vehicle tinted today and call them at 608-217-5773 or visit their Facebook page, Duke's Tints LLC, and use code BeeHole Podcast. Again, BeeHole Podcast to get $40 off your next window tint service. Code is eligible for any window tint service offered.
Are we gonna continue the martial arts discussion we were having?
Oh Jesus!
Hold up. I gotta disclose this, but we're back. Sorry about the all of a sudden cut off of a video. Apparently my camera's retarded and they can't freaking. Is that good with you?
Luke
Yeah.
forgot that it's only a minute. Luke forgot it was
Mike,
only
What
a
is
half
wrong
hour
with you,
time.
Luke?
My camera can't go extended over 30 minutes of video for some reason.
Luke
but I
did
have
a
to get
boo boo.
I gotta get a computer over here now in order to record longer. I wanted to prevent that, but I chose to use a different camera. But I guess this camera doesn't do that, so
It's okay.
my bad. But at
It's
least we
okay,
know.
buddy.
At least we know.
It's a learning process.
Because on the camera it said I can record over 9 hours,
Mhm.
but I didn't know it was simultaneously
That's
9
hours
hours.
collectively, huh?
Yeah, it's
That
9 hours
sucks.
collectively. It was clickbaiting me.
That's tough.
It was clickbaiting me.
It
But
got
anyways,
you.
You
The marketing got
jebaited,
you.
sir.
huh?
It got you.
Yeah, it did get me.
You got jebaited.
They got you.
I thought I could read it good, but I couldn't read it good enough. But anyways, what were you guys talking about?
Well, we were talking about the UFC, how, in my opinion, you need to either have wrestling or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to be
make
able
it.
to do well in the UFC and in mixed martial
Not
arts.
necessarily like the mastery of it, but just like the knowledge of it.
Yes.
I don't think you need the mastery of either of them. Yeah, just the knowledge. You can definitely master in some type of striking. Like,
Dog, you gotta look at the
in my opinion, I really like kickboxers in Muay
Oh, for
Thai.
sure.
Muay Thai is like fucking. Oh my god,
Dude,
their kicks,
one of
dude.
these nights we'll have a fight night. We'll watch some UFC fights. We'll watch some ONE FC. Dude.
I'd rather
1 FC
watch-
goes hard,
Yeah,
dude.
I,
1 FC is Muay Thai, MMA, kickboxing, and like grappling, bro.
I've been watching the females
Everything.
go at it, bro. The
They can
females
scrap.
fucking
Dude,
slap,
I know.
They can scrap.
When I
dude.
watch the UFC fight cards, I've been watching them sometimes.
Yes,
and when I
dude.
watch
Just
them,
watch
yeah,
them
dude,
sometime, bro.
Dude, the girls do perfectly fine. What do you mean? They're so vicious. They're out there just like the guys are, dude. They're out there trying to win.
The thing is that they're more entertaining because they're smaller and they're faster.
they are
Yeah,
really
they're a little bit
fast.
more feisty.
Yeah.
Well, it's like what you guys were saying with how like when you guys play the UFC games, the heavier weight fighters move slower, and that makes sense because you do have more of that mass. Like
You can kind of see everything
Yeah.
happening. Is that
that's like a thing. That's dexterity. Dexterity tends to be higher when you're like smaller. That's the one thing going for you is you're moving fast. The other person's strong.
A lot of people would argue though that it's just like the high level of women's MMA isn't necessarily there. Just like the amount of high level women's MMA is just not quite the same as the amount of.
Is there not
men's
as many
high level.
fights quite yet? or-
There's
for
fights,
UFC?
but
No.
like, okay, so let's take this last example of Amanda Nunes' last fight.
Mhm.
She was Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldara was their last fight card, and this was a main event. But then before this fight was a match between Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush, and apparently that was a fight that literally like 99% of the fans wanted to see,
It was so
and it was
good.
a fucking crazy fight.
It was amazing.
Shout out to Du Bronx.
Dude,
What a fucking
so good.
savage like first round knockout, dude. Just
Brutal.
insane. Former
Always
former
appreciate a good
champion.
first round knockout.
Former champion. Lost his belt. Now he's back. First round knockout. He's coming for the rematch.
That's awesome.
He's coming for the rematch.
I love
At least
that,
he's making a
dude.
comeback story for himself. Fuck.
Yeah, his whole story, dude. He was like a fucking poor kid from the favelas, dude.
What is
Oh,
his
dude,
What is
Brazil.
his martial arts background again?
He was a jiu-jitsu specialist. Jiu-jitsu specialist, and then as his career progressed, he added some fucking slick
I don't
boxing.
care what anybody says.
He's really good in the clinch. He's got some really good like Muay Thai, like clinch knees to the
Mhm.
body.
I don't care what anybody says. You could put the biggest, baddest dude up against any kind of mastery of anything. That master's going to put him down on the ground.
There's actually some.
Well, as long as the big bad dude has no training in anything, usually I'd say yes.
If it's like a
just
bodybuilder
like
versus
common,
a-
like enforcer or street fighter or some shit like that.
Well,
Yeah.
and there's an
Like
argument.
you just put a big bad street fighter brawler against any kind of mastery of like taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, anything.
See,
I'm
it's
gonna
tough.
watch that.
That's
match
why I
up
like
the
seeing
kind
those
of
videos.
round, bro.
That's why I love
There is
seeing those.
always a thing known as the puncher's chance, though.
This
It
is true.
is
That's fair.
a big ass motherfucker like Francis Ngannou spamming his hands, bro.
Yeah.
If you're caught in a danger zone, like that's lights out. Like
Yeah.
that's CTE.
If you just kind of throw
your
up a
head
flurry,
smacks
you
against the
just
pavement, you're probably dead. Actually,
spray
like if
and
you
pray
get
with punches.
Alistair Overeemed on the fucking pavement, bro. Alistair Overeemed uppercut on the pavement. That you're probably dead.
spray and
Yeah,
pray with
you're
punches,
probably
bro.
dead.
That's all you
Probably
gotta
dead.
do.
Well, you guys are always forgetting about the biggest life hack. I got a gun. That's why
Facts,
any
though.
fight,
That is
any
facts.
fight, you should
Weapons,
not fight
dude.
because you never know if they have a
Yes.
gun, a knife, how crazy they are, what they are on.
You
like,
could die over the dumbest shit,
Yeah,
bro.
never.
Because there's some fucking dumbass with an ego, and maybe he's too lit on.
And
No,
a
he
short
just lit.
fuse and a
He has a big
dangerous
ego.
access to
Now he's
weaponry.
flaunting. Maybe you just shitty day. Now
Yeah.
you're his fucking.
Yippee.
You're his fucking dummy. What is he
Yep.
gonna do? Maybe as a knife. Maybe as a gun.
Yeah,
You just why risk it? It's not worth it.
yeah.
It's
Risk
not
it
worth
for the biscuit. Fuck no.
It's not worth it.
You
But I
shouldn't
like
get into a
biscuits.
fight. The best martial arts.
You do like
definitely
fights,
walking
though.
away.
That is
I never
always
scrap.
really interesting.
I can scrap.
I never scrap.
I do like that a lot of the trained martial arts will tell you like what's the best thing to do in the street fight? Run away. Like, just
Dude,
leave.
it
Run,
just
just
Try
leave.
your best not to
Walk
be the
away
best
from the
guy.
situation, or
Understand
if you're getting ran up on, like literally run the fuck away. But like if like those guys know that they're capable of defending themselves, but it's
Yeah.
like they know the consequences of violence.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially if you're a trained like practitioner like that, like they understand the consequences of that. They live that shit, and now it's like now you're adding fucking boots. You're wearing shoes. You're adding concrete. You're adding.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
adding two of his buddies. Like there's just
You're
so
adding
there's so
unannounced variables of
Yeah,
anything
you
of
could-
weapons in their
yeah,
pockets.
homie could have a knife. You go for a rear naked choke. His buddy runs up on you.
Or a pencil. Imagine getting stabbed with a pencil. That would
Just
fucking
anything,
suck. You gotta
dude.
tell
John Wick
people,
can kill
I
three
got
men in a
stabbed
bar
with
with a pencil.
His
so-
homie, dude, his
How'd you
homie,
die?
his homie
Pencil.
could take off his belt and try to fucking like come around you
Dude,
while you're,
then
you're
you gotta
choking
tell
a dude
people
out.
you got choked
If
out
John
by a
Wick-
belt.
you're getting
by a
out-
grown
if
man
John
belt.
Wick-
John Wick's a god, bro.
If
Don't
John
bring
Wick
up John
can,
Wick.
if John Wick can kill three men with a pencil, I don't
John
know what
Wick
else
is a god.
Yeah,
And
this
that's
is
why in
just-
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu you have a belt and you can use it. And you can use the gi.
So do you prefer you've been doing jujitsu for how long now, Marcus?
Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
I think I started going weekly, and I missed some weeks because I get busy in work, and I'm really focused on work. You guys know
Let's
that.
let's
So I've been
focus
so
on this
busy.
first. Marcus is over here is a fucking wrestler first. Wrestler first, jujitsu second. Terrifying. Fucking terrifying, dude.
Honestly, if Marcus really could, he could probably kick my ass in a fight.
He
You
already
should have
kicked
seen
Justin.
him rolling with Justin, dude. That was
Did the
so
throw.
crazy.
He already
The
kicked
throw was
BJ's
so
ass.
He has
crazy.
literally almost 100 pounds on me, and I threw him right over.
They were literally like they were
There's
rolling.
no way Justin's got 100 pounds on you.
Yeah.
How heavy did he say he was?
You're like 250.
Nuh-uh.
Dude, I am.
Dude, when's the
do
last
we
time
have
you
a
seen
scale?
Justin?
It's probably been a minute, to be honest, but I don't think that fucker
Justin's
put
a
on...
little bit bigger than
skinnier.
you, dude.
There's
He's
no
getting
way he put the
skinnier,
weight on that I took off, because I'm dropping below 250 again.
You are a little
Damn.
bit slimmer.
Yeah,
than
dude.
You are getting slim, man.
I'm
You're
Yeah.
looking beautiful.
Work has been making
You're
me
looking
sweat like a
beautiful.
goddamn champ, dude.
You're
I
looking beautiful.
sweat
Good job,
in
man.
buckets.
Good job.
You're looking
It
beautiful.
Oh,
just-
let's get into both of your lives. We already introduced ourselves in the previous podcast. We got to get into
Oh,
your lives here.
Jesus.
Let's go start off with Dan first, right here.
All right. Well, I'm just your everyday bartender, but guess not your everyday bartender. I work at a 5-star resort, so I'm
Fuck you.
I'm serving a little bit of a higher end clientele
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah,
a sort.
yeah.
So I work
Older white dudes.
for the most part, yeah. But then there are also like those few Latin American branches of I'm part of a bigger company. It's Kohler.
Whoa.
It's a big name
That's okay, we
company.
already said Kohler
There's-
before.
oh yeah, I'm sure you all
Whoa.
have. I work for Kohler as a bartender in one of their hospitality sites, and I must say it is a very rewarding and fantastic job.
Hell yeah.
Not only am I dealing with some fairly awesome clientele and guests, but I am also working with people that just enjoy their job. Like 95% of the time when I'm talking to somebody that works with me or works in a different department of Kohler, they are
Yeah.
saying that they enjoy their job and the people that
That's
they work
good.
with and what they're
Yeah, that's
doing.
crazy.
That is good.
But not only for the fact that of the people everybody else is just working at, but they're doing the job that they like to do within the same company.
Oh yeah.
Because Kohler is huge. They have a whole industrial,
Fucking huge. dude.
absolutely fucking gigantic.
Are they what? Like a Fortune?
I couldn't even tell you, dude. They're probably breaking.
Oh yeah, someone should
billions.
Google if they're a Fortune 500 company. When we went to Washington,
There are
we
Kohler
saw them
urinals in
everywhere.
Vegas.
Literally
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Kohler's
I looked
everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went to the bathroom, we looked, and almost every single time. Like maybe it was 2 or 3 times it wasn't Kohler.
The nice ass hotels in Vegas have
Oh,
all
oh,
yeah.
Kohler
They-
shit in there.
Not
It's
only
so
that,
crazy.
but gas station, dude. I'm talking gas
Yeah.
station
Oh,
stopping.
man.
Dude, I'm
Oh
saying
my
like
God.
so many mixes.
Everywhere.
They're
Everybody
That's
check your
National
toilets.
Parks.
That's not just
They do
in
everything.
America.
I got a
That's-
Kohler showerhead speaker,
That's
boy.
worldwide. I have one of those too, and they're
My shit
awesome.
broke.
They're really big in China too.
My
I know
shit
that.
broke.
Yeah,
like
that's
5
not
months.
just
Damn.
in America, ladies and
They're
gents.
moving
This-
their
they-
factory.
That's worldwide.
Out.
Yeah, they're moving them out. You didn't know that?
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Did you
That's
guys
good.
know that?
I didn't know that.
I did.
I don't know any news anymore. I just
Everybody
just
check
go
your
by my
toilets.
day
Less
now.
regulation.
Kohler.
But yes, I do. I work with her.
Tell me about it.
I work with one of their resorts, but I also am associated with one of their bigger named golf courses.
Oh,
I see
shit.
a
That's
lot-
the money right
I
now.
see a lot of golfers, and those guys like to blow shmoney like blowing their nose in Kleenex. Let me.
We won't
fucking
get
tell ya.
deep into finances, but
Among
what was
other
your biggest
things that
tip?
blow.
Ever gotten
are
from
we
that job?
Are we talking from like a singular person or from like a buyout event?
Let's do both. Let's go.
All right. So from a singular person, I've had a person straight up drop just a straight bill in my tip jar before,
Nice.
and then continue to tip me throughout the night.
That's crazy.
Like-
straight bills.
Like a straight $100
Uh-huh.
bill was dropped into my tip jar. Like he tried to hand it to me directly, and I said right into the tip because I didn't even notice what he was trying to hand me. I just saw a bill. I just saw a piece of paper for money, So I thought it was like a 5 or a 10 or something like that because he was part of a fairly bigger group. He was probably like 12 people with his entire group.
Baller.
Shot caller.
So they all rolled up. They all, get whatever. And then he comes up. He gets his drink. He tries to hand me the money. I just right in the tip jar. It's fine, sir. And he just drops it right there. And I just look at him. Just, holy shit, that's a bill. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Wait a minute. So, question. So, I don't really work with a bunch of. I don't work as like. I've never worked in like the bartender or restaurant industry. Customer service industry. So, if it's a tip jar, goes through all the bartenders and all that, or does it?
That depends on your work and situation. So for me directly, I am my own person when I'm at work.
You're by yourself.
I'm associated with a restaurant, but me as a standstill, I am my own personal
Okay.
bar. So all of the tips that I make go directly to me.
Okay,
I don't
nice.
split off with anybody.
Yeah.
But now if there is a big buyout event or something like that, then people in the servers, like back in the dining room that's behind me, they all get tipped out separately as well because they all have their own separate accounts for registers and stuff.
Mm.
But they do make team ups for most of the time if there's a bigger group of people or there's a lot of people coming in for dinner, we have a lot of reservations or stuff like that. The one time it's all spread out between us is when we have buyouts or people buying out the entirety of the dining room or the bar or something like that, which we recently just had happen. We had a very large group of about 180 people. It was guaranteed for 170, so we knew that's how many people we'd had to charge out for exactly, if anything.
I bet you since it went up by 10, more money came in.
See, that's the thing. If 180 people showed up, we charged for 180 people. If only 160 showed up, then we still charge for that 170.
Damn.
We have to.
Nice.
We ask for a guaranteed set amount of people that are going to be showing up. And that's kind of our basis or
Yeah.
our backup in case we don't get an actual count.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So with bigger groups like that, they do have to spend quite a pretty penny in order
Of
to rent
course.
everything out.
Of course.
For the buyout event that just happened by me, they had rented out a portion of our courtyard, which is half of our courtyard, the entirety of a dining room, and my bar area. Just
Damn.
doing that was $70K.
Holy shit.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a number in of itself. So during that night, they just kind of had a buffet kind of situation instead of having servers bring out their food from the kitchen.
Mm.
So everything was pre-set up before everybody got there. There was a whole ice sculpture filled with seafood. There was
What the fuck?
2 different tables for fresh seafood or for fresh sushi stations, and then a whole side of one of the dining rooms was just lined up with hot plates full of sliders, mac and cheese, and then beef tips. And then there was just a bunch of walking hors d'oeuvres and everything walking around too.
Damn.
Out by me, I had a full charcuterie board. So just assorted meats, cheeses, nuts, the whole shebang. And then I had my bar open. They had 2 other full service bars down in the dining room. Another bar out on the patio that was part of a tasting that we had specifically for a bunch of nicer bourbons and scotches and stuff like that. And then there was another bar that was set up primarily for a certain for certain wines that we were serving. So there were 5 different bars that you could go to. 3 of them full service for any cocktail or beer or drink that you could want, and then 2 of them specialized. The end of that night, I left out a little early because we were able to, because my bar is in a separate entity, so I was able to shut down early. I got emailed a couple of days later from my manager saying how much I made out on that tip out.
Can we guess?
Yeah, go ahead. Take a guess. This day went from, so I came in at about 2:15, and I left at about 9:45, 10 o'clock.
2 questions.
Sure.
So you said it was $7,000?
70K.
70K.
Just to rent out the locations.
Okay.
That is not including all of the amenities, necessities, and
is this
food
tip
and drink.
including the tip for that and the tip for all
Everything is put together.
Well,
It is
tip for
all. It
that
is all
alone would
one.
be
It is. It is
$1,400
all.
if
It
it's
is all
20%.
one collective percent. It is all one collective bill, and all of us are all tipped out a percentage on it. I will tell you right now, the service charge each of us get is 25% of the bill.
I'm gonna say that the pool tip that all of you guys had to share, or is it just
No,
yours?
everything gets spread off to us separately. So it's in gratuity wise.
How many people about?
There was 170 guaranteed. So for us,
No, like
for us serving, there was.
How many people are getting split it up?
I think 8 or 9.
8 or 9 by like
So
1,400.
I'll tell you now, it's over $500.
Oh wow! Holy crap!
8.
You're close. You need to go down.
That's all you guys.
What?
I already
You
said
need to go
mine.
down.
I already said my guess.
He said
8.
He said 800. Go down from that.
600?
No, higher.
750.
Yep.
Damn, you motherfucker!
In a singular night
Damn,
of 7 and
nice.
about 6.5 to 7 hours worth of work, I made $750.
That is crazy.
Goddamn.
Nice. Holy shit.
Congratulations,
And that,
dude.
so with that being said, people always ask me, and I don't ever have issues talking about this kind of shit. I talk about your money with other people. That's how you know you're getting paid the right thing and not getting fucked over by your company. So with that being said,
I got you, brother.
thanks, man. So with that being said, there is also a all of the money that I get tipped out from credit cards and like room charges and stuff, because all of that is based off of a credit card to begin with. That's gratuity. I make that and I charge it out at the end of the night, or more, like close out the check. That then gets sent to me on my paycheck. So then on my paycheck, I get my hourly wage, and then I get all of the money that I make in gratuity tip put onto my paycheck. And in slow season, which is basically winter, because all the golf courses closed at that point, so you can't golf in the middle of snow and ice and all that kind of shit, obviously. So that's our slower season. Most of my busy nights, I'll do like $600 to $800 in sales, and that's busy. On a steady night, I'll do like 4 to 6. On a slow night, I'll do something less than 3.
Damn.
As of right now, during my busier season, which is the summer, like that late spring getting into summer bit, and then it usually goes into like the mid of fall, is from what I've been told. On an average day, I will do anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 in sales, and that's a steady day. So I'm literally doubling my number from a busy day from winter, and that's my standard average when I'm working normally right now.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, I go in, I get my bar set up, and then from there, it's just a constant stream of get this shit done.
Yeah.
Let's play some scenarios here. I'm an old white man with.
Oh, why the role play? You love the role playing. All right, let's see it.
I gotta see what you gotta come up with, man.
To try and give you a little bit of an idea of how cool the customer and guest clientele that I deal with, in the 7 months that I've been there so far, there's probably been 4 people that I'd be like, I could fight you on the street and not feel bad. Just because
as of interaction,
no,
or just
off of passing by and hearing the conversations of what they are having.
No.
I'm not going to get into specifics, obviously, but it's a little bit on the derogatory and absurd side of things. I'm just like, that's gross. I don't want to deal with you anymore, but I'm in a hospitality 5-star resort kind of area, so I can't.
Question, can you offer not servicing?
Only in specific situations, and I have to get manager position or management approval for it. And most of the time, if I have to do that, it's mostly just going to the manager and having them call security to come and deal with the situation at that point.
Get that ass out of here.
Pretty much. I haven't yet hit that point yet, but I've gotten close once or twice. One of them wasn't necessarily bad. It was just more so guy was just a little tipsy and just kind of being loud, obnoxious, and just slightly inappropriate, and just kind of being. Oh yeah, that definitely. And just kind of just being a jackass. It wasn't like he was being derogatory or rude directly to anybody. He was just being obnoxious as fuck. But then there was one guy that was being a little bit derogatory towards me directly, and I just kind of dealt with the situation and passed it off. I have a certain way I can sign people's drinks off, so I just gave them a drink for free.
Essentially, Dan's both a bodyguard and a bartender at the same time.
Yeah, kind of, but it's not even that. If I had to act upon that kind of stuff, I'd probably lose my job.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
yeah.
I couldn't do what I did when I was working at the gas station and be like, dude, you can get the fuck out now. Like,
Yeah.
there was definitely that one or two guys where because I worked in that gas station from that sketchy ass hotel. So there was that one or two occasions where I'd be like, yeah, you can get the fuck out. I'm not serving you. Like, I would be 100% comfortable doing that. I almost jumped the counter on a guy working there because of how he was talking to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
But if I did that at Kohler, they'd fire me on the spot.
Yeah, it's definitely a different
it
level.
would be 100% walkout.
But
Like,
that's good that you got that in your head, though.
Oh
man.
yeah,
That's-
but it's definitely like, and I've noticed the change in my life directly just from having a pleasant work environment.
oh,
And
It's-
it's fucking immaculate on how much my mental health has just shot
Oh,
up
yeah.
in the last 7 months just because
That's
of
so good to
having
hear,
a
dude.
yeah,
just
dude.
of having a positive source of income and actually being able to like have a chance to save money and working at a place that I enjoy doing things. And it's just
Nice.
like I can foresee myself building a career here.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
like this will be the job that will, if I hit a point, it'll send me to college to get a degree to just continue to build the corporate ladder the way my sister did.
damn,
So-
that's crazy.
Hell
We'll see
yeah.
how it goes from here,
Fuck
boys.
yeah, bro.
For now, I'm just having fun bartending and getting people
That's
drunk.
good, man. That's good. Jump cut.
And we're back.
That was a weird jump cut. I don't know what the fuck happened there.
I had a small heart attack, and we needed to make sure I wasn't dying. I think we're good now.
Yeah, we need to make sure he gets back to his bodyguard and bartender job. But anyways, now since we got that out of the way,
Then we
I'm
get to
happy. I'm happy for you, Dan.
Yeah,
you know it's been a while.
It's a good time.
But now, are you happy?
Yeah. I'm happy. My name is Marcus.
As
I'm
he's
happy.
as he's gesturing to Marcus while he's asking that question,
I'd
just
say
for
I'm,
the
I'd say I'm
audio
a really
listeners.
happy individual at this point in time.
You're always like a happy dude, though.
I try to look on the positive. Lately, the pessimism has been coming out a lot more. If I'm being honest.
Do you mind if
being
I ask
honest.
what about specifically, if anything? Or just like
Oh,
in
God.
general, or just
Don't
like
put me
in,
on the
Is
spot.
or
it
just
me?
like,
No.
or just like in general
in
about
general, I'd say in general, I used to.
Are you sick and tired of people?
I know, no, it's. I used to have that puppy dog eye. Like you guys know, I used to be really optimistic. Like you said, I used to like look at everything and be like, everything's gonna be fine. Human beings are the best. We work to solve problems. And lately,
now that you do mention it, you always did kind of have that childlike sense of wonder to the world.
Yeah.
that we all were
The
kind
curiosity,
of lacking. Yeah.
dude.
I really look back on it. I'm like, holy crap! Like I really thought like everything like. We were advancing and
Dude.
everything, and everything's gonna be like we worked to finish everything. Some things are gonna take longer, but that's just the nature of things. And now I'm realizing, man, some things just might not be able to be fixed, and that's like a whole.
Talking to this?
That's like a whole like philosophy thing. Like I don't know. I try to be optimistic, but no, I'm happy. No, I'm happy. Going back, yeah, no, I'm happy right now. I'm having a good
I don't
time.
believe you.
Oh. You're just jealous of my vacation, Luke. I had a really good vacation.
Yeah, dude.
so-
Let's hear about it.
Yeah, let's hear about that.
Where'd you go and what'd you do and who'd you fuck? No, I'm saying. I'm just kidding.
So
Where'd you go?
I'd say the top three, if I had to name top three things in order, I'd say the Badlands was number one. I definitely would say the Badlands were number one. That is also the first thing we saw. So that was.
Oh, but where'd you go though? Like what?
So the farthest we went to the west. 'Cause
I'm talking about like state wise. We need a bigger picture here.
I went to Washington.
There you go. All right,
Yeah.
okay, keep going. You got.
But no, the Badlands was definitely the best. That was. I felt like I was on Mars, dude. Like it was so weird. Like.
Damn.
And the reason why it's like that, I don't know, I'm a nerd, so I like to stop and read the things. And like, I didn't read all of them because they wanted to keep, because we were trying to be fast about it. You know?
Oh yeah,
Like,
you gotta
we
get
have-
the info and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get that general spiel.
Yeah, but
That's so sad for
we
you
only
not
had
to
about a
read
week
the
and a
whole
half.
thing.
So like, we had, we were trying to fit a lot into a week and a half. We saw a lot of national parks. We were going to a lot of different stuff.
Damn.
So we were
Damn,
like,
that
they were
time
trying
went
to
by
get-
so fast.
Yeah, it went by really. I mean, I went over 2,100 miles away, and I'm just still in the
Yeah.
same country.
Wow.
Yeah, wasn't your final drive home like a solid 18 hours or some shit?
No, it was like 30.
God
Oh,
damn.
Jesus.
Yeah, they drove.
No, it was literally like 30. I'm not even kidding. Like that's how far
Yeah,
it
see,
was.
now you
Oh
don't look
my.
happy. See, there you go.
But-
I was
Yeah,
kidding.
I don't.
Got your ass.
I've only done a road trip half that length, and it sucked.
It was an experience. I'll say that. I go to Kentucky a lot, so I'm used to an 8-hour. I was like, man, this won't be that bad for me. I go on 8-hour drives all the time to Kentucky to see my brother, and then I was like, oh god. Like,
What's the most you did in one sitting? Or you drove in one sitting?
No, you can't. No.
I would probably say the last day, we really wanted to get home, so we literally our sleep for the second day going into the last day. So like in the middle of the night going into the last day of it, we decided to try to drive through, and we only took 1 hour rest area stop. It was like that was like the only time I could get sleep personally. Like I was trying to doze off. Like I dozed off for like 5 minutes. Maybe, you know, like you're starting to.
It's that feeling.
And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you're back.
You
you're
can't
back
get too
to
comfortable.
Yeah, but
Because you know time's ticking.
yeah, you really do got me, folks. So you got me. He's like, I'm gonna get you looking on the bad parts of the trip.
Road trips are a different kind of time dilation, man. I don't want to talk about it.
No, the good parts were awesome though. The Badlands felt like I was on Mars. So the reason I was getting to before is that all that was underwater. Like North America, millions of years ago, the only parts that were really showing were around the Rockies and the Appalachia. So like all the other parts, like the middle part of North America,
we were underwater, bitch.
It was underwater, and so it was like Maine and that part.
Water, motherfucker.
Holy shit! Wait, Marcus, was that Atlantis?
Yeah, it was.
Drink this shit.
That's where all of us lived, and we all were.
We're derived from the fish people, folks.
We all come from fish, technically.
If you look at the evolutionary track, it's yeah.
Yeah, you could think that. But no,
pussy do taste fishy.
For sure, that was cool.
Fucking Luke.
Pussy do taste fishy.
Yeah, we used to be fish eating other fish's pussies, and we were like, yeah.
Is that just extended evolutionary
the
cannibalism at that point?
Oh, God.
You might have to with fish. They might pee and poop out the same thing. So yeah, no, you eat the ass first, and then you gotta eat.
I mean,
if you're chasing them, where are you biting?
Well, let me tell you, folks. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you all this right now. The odds of you drinking that water right now that it's been passed through another person and a human being is highly more likely than it being you drinking fresh water.
Is that not 100%?
Most places it will be, but if you're drinking like well water or some shit like that, you're probably drinking water that's like millions of years old.
Yum.
At least if you're like in a stringent area in the middle of. Well, yeah, there's runoff too, of course. But then if you're just like living in the fucking wilderness,
spring water would be
nowhere, then
the best.
Yeah, spring water would probably be the best. But at that, if you're talking, you want to go straight purity, rainwater.
Okay.
Rainwater?
Oh yeah, that's evaporated from all sources around. That would probably be the most purified version of it that you're not drinking.
It's acid rain.
I mean that because then you're just burning your insides. Because yay.
But I like that. Like, keep going.
The second one, and you'll like this word, the Ho rainforest.
Yay!
No, there's a rainforest in Washington, believe it or not, and it's
called
like
the Ho.
Almost as north as us, if not more north. But it's gets 12 feet of rain every year. Had like literally like hanging moss on almost all the trees. Like the trees literally looked like they had beards like everywhere, and it was so.
Oh yeah,
it was so cool. Yeah, no, that's my cover for you. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It looks so cool.
I do remember seeing the photo.
Yes, it was really cool. And then the third would probably
it looked like your old hair.
like the arbor trees from Chowder.
It looked like Pandora, honestly. That's what I literally said that when we were
like
there.
Avatar.
Yeah, I was like, I felt like I was on Mars and I'm Pandora within the same week in the same country. Isn't that crazy?
States is very geographically diverse.
Actually, there is one place that isn't in the States that I want to visit. That's on my bucket list, and that's the forest inside of a cave. It's based in Vietnam.
Oh,
the inside of the cave itself is like 3 or 4 stories high or some shit like that, awesome. And it literally has its own active ecosystem.
Damn.
So you know where you're gonna go at least before you die.
Yeah, that's definitely on the top of the bucket list before I kick the bucket.
Do you guys have any places where you're like, I have to go there before I die?
What's one place you need to go before you die?
Go home. I tell that to my girl Nuku all the time. She's like, I want to go somewhere. Where do you want to go? I'm gonna go home. It ruins her mood.
I bet that shuts her down real damn quick.
I'm not sure. There's a ton of countries that I think I'd like to eventually visit.
I want to at least go to Tokyo.
Australia for me.
I want to see. I want to go to Australia.
I need to visit my Aussie family.
Purely for stargazing. It has the best stargazing in the world.
I can believe that with some of the outbacks that they have over there, but I also need to make sure that I can get a weapon there because everything there can kill you.
That's not a knife. That's where you could actually do that line.
People that Colorado has the best.
No, Hawaii.
Oh,
Hawaii.
I've heard Colorado has really good stargazing.
I've heard the 3 best places are Australia, Hawaii, and Colorado.
I don't know.
I think it would be to the altitude because just the rock.
Well, Hawaii, bro, you're like up with the fucking volcanoes, and they have observatories and shit.
Specifically
the
part of the reason for Australia has
I don't think
it has to do with elevation. It has to do with the climate because that really affects what you're looking up at. I'm not even kidding. Like how arid it is and everything like that can really affect if you can see it more or less. And then I'm pretty sure it's also the fact that there used to be the hole in the ozone used to be mainly over Australia. Like I'm not even kidding. Like that's just where it happened to be
Some say that's why it's so scorched the way
so
it is.
skin cancer in Australia is like really high
Exponentially
percentage, like
high.
higher than in other places. I'm
All
not
the
even that's like a
melanoma.
big thing there.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's
But no,
really bad.
no, going back.
Didn't
and,
it get patched up?
and what?
Didn't the ozone layer?
Yeah, no, it's all
shrink and
actually
patch up?
no, yeah, the ozone. The ozone is almost one of the best, if not the best, like feats of science.
Okay,
being,
good. You're like
teaching
down with me,
us.
dude.
I was
No,
like,
yeah, no.
didn't it just recently heal itself completely?
No, it's all. No, I shouldn't say it's all good. I know that it is way, way better than it used to be, and it's not really as much of a problem anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I know for sure.
Okay, that's
I remember reading something
That's
about
good.
it a while back. But
Everything
I can't
else, I'd
remember
just be
specifically.
speculation. I'd be talking on my ass, but
as we usually do here.
I mean, are those the best kinds of conversations?
Well,
Yeah, we just talking about some
those
bullshit.
Those better on the stupid
I
ideas
mean, we're
that
human
nobody
beings
asks.
talking about the ozone. I'm probably talking about bullshit no matter what. Like we probably like know like nothing about the ozone, like
Hell
compared to
no.
what we actually could know.
Definitely.
Dude,
not.
there's always
And also,
more things
to be
to
fair, it
come.
wouldn't surprise me. We do know more about our solar system than we do about our own ocean, so it wouldn't surprise me that we know.
Well,
about
that's
one
because
fact
space
about
is
another.
super empty. Like that is like the big thing
That's
that
so
is. That's another
terrifying.
pessimistic thing of me growing up is realizing just how big space is. Like,
67% of space is made up of dark matter, which is just the dark emptiness in between everything.
Goddamn.
I don't know about that.
I
I genuinely don't know about the percentage of dark matter.
It was Neil deGrasse Tyson that I was reading
Okay.
from the other day, and he set up that 67% of the universe is made up.
Did
of
you ever
dark
get your book
matter.
signed?
No, I didn't.
You
Oh,
motherfucker!
I did not.
He had a chance to go
Yep,
meet
I did
Neil
have a
deGrasse
chance.
Tyson.
I totally spaced on that. Completely
Neil
forgot
God.
about that.
deGrasse
You didn't
Tyson.
go, or did you
No.
meet him? You
No,
didn't
I
meet.
didn't. No.
Because he was contemplating on if he would go with somebody because he didn't want to go alone. And I was like, well, depending on when it is, I can possibly go. But he's like, well, I don't want to bother you guys. I'm like, dude, if it's your happiest moment, I
If
want to
it's-
be there,
I was
man.
gonna say,
That's-
and it's a chance to meet Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, when are you
one of the
gonna have
best
that chance again,
astrophysicists
type of
of the
thing.
fucking modern world. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be
Pretty
so
awesome.
damn cool.
You were going to go talk to him like some in-depth shit, like
Yeah.
some wrestling shit, right?
Well, he has what I have too, the whole monologue syndrome. So like he's awesome. He's like super like I love Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he had one flaw. That would be it. He's not a perfect man. No, he used to be a wrestler.
No one is.
He used to be a wrestler guy, an
My bad.
astrophysicist. Did
That's
it
super
even in
cool.
college. Like college wrestling was really hard, and he even did it in college. It wasn't bad.
Damn.
Just know, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, he could definitely slam you into the concrete hard enough to kill you.
Jesus.
Just being realistic.
So
Yeah.
you used to do wrestling as a youth. You never wanted to take it to a
higher
collegiate
level?
level.
Yeah.
No, so when I was younger, I didn't realize how good I had learning wrestling. Like I always thought, like I remember thinking, like I looked at
You never appreciated during the time.
no, I looked at all the other like kids doing their other sports, and I was like, I just so happen to have a wrestler dad, and his dad wrestled. Like this just so happened, like yeah, like I just have to do this, and on it, like I'm not even kidding. Like my first 2 years weren't bad. Like it wasn't like I was doing pretty. I was getting first. Like I was getting trophy. Me and Easton both. Like we weren't doing bad,
First
but
2
I
years,
genuinely
what
didn't
age?
care. Think first grade.
Wow.
Jesus.
Really
No, I can't. No,
young.
I'm really bad about. We were just talking about this. I'm really bad with the exact years, and because when you're a kid, you're not thinking, oh, it's this year. Oh, I'm this age.
That's
You're just
true.
you
That's
just
true.
have those flashes of memories, and you don't. You're not thinking about what age.
I just have to remember how old I was back when some certain events
Sec-
were happening.
Or how'd I look?
Or how'd I look?
Or
Yeah.
second grade. It might have been second grade. Latest second grade. Definitely latest second
How big
grade.
did my fat ass
But-
be?
No, I didn't like it.
Was
I
that
genuinely
245?
was just doing the
280?
motions, just learning it. Just I was like, okay, well this works.
Because
and,
it was just basically forced upon you.
yeah, and I wouldn't say I started liking it until probably around middle school, because that's when I had something where other people I knew were like actually like looking at it and stuff, and I was like I was doing so like I'm not even kidding. My first year I was undefeated in middle school. Like swear to
I think that was
Cross my
a
heart,
story
hope
around
to die,
town,
like,
man.
not even undefeated in my first year of middle school. Like
Okay.
that's when I don't know. I was like, I started wrestling people, and I was like, wait, I'm one of those people you hear about.
That was like one of the
have all
first
these
things I
years
remember
under their
hearing
belt.
about
I was
Marcus
like,
in middle
I'm
school.
like, you know how you hear about sports where they're like, I've been doing it since this age, and you're like, well, why has this person been doing this so long? Like, whether it's football, basketball, whatever it is, hockey, whatever it is. that was wrestling for me. And I was for some
That
weird reason.
transition.
That was
I
like-
just it was weird.
It was one of the first things I learned about Marcus in middle school was how badass he was at wrestling
Oh, yeah.
already, and it was like 7th grade or
And it was
some
a
shit.
casual
Yeah.
thing. I didn't talk about it because I wasn't about. I didn't really talk about it or anything like that because I was like,
It was low key. It was hella low key for
Yeah.
you.
I just did it. I'm not. I was constantly just doing it. Just whatever. That was the thing I did.
You were
There's a thing-
desensitized to it at
And
that
Easton
point.
was better, and that's why. Easton could have gotten pro. I genuinely,
Damn.
not kidding. I
Damn.
swear to God, like Easton
That's a
could have
scary
genuinely have
thought.
gotten pro. Easton was a beast at wrestling. He was amazing. He was doing nationals. Easton
Oh,
did a
my
couple
Lord.
nationals.
That's
Damn.
impressive. That's damn impressive.
Easton was nationally ranked.
Damn.
Yeah, no, Easton was really good. But no, I would say until I started liking it, I was like, man, this is actually awesome. And I had
Damn, this is
that's
actually
when I
good.
started getting pride about it. I was like, dude, I'm like pretty good at this. Wrestling was a big ego check. Wrestling was, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure my second and third year I went undefeated again in middle school. So 7th to 8th grade.
Damn.
Not even kidding. But then again, everyone I was running into was essentially didn't really do it that much.
Mm.
I think there might have been 1 or 2 matches I lost. But that was, I remember it was a lot of people's first time trying it because that was when people got to see it in their school. Because wrestling elementary school, you don't do it for an elementary school. It's a youth league. You do it for your city.
Yeah, that's like wreck shit.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So
That was like when
and
Justin and I
like
played soccer.
and like no one did it. So and now all the way went up to the end of middle school. That ends at middle school. Once you go into high school, you can't be in that anymore.
Now you have to go.
And I was on Team Excel, Sheboygan Team Excel. We were in an amazing team, but we weren't bad. No, we had genuine, really good wrestlers, but we weren't amazing. We were small. Like I've noticed that's something around.
yeah,
Sheboygan.
it's Pee Wee wrestling.
The
What did you
wrestling.
expect?
Well, no, the wrestling team itself was small.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I've noticed wrestling is not like a huge thing. Like it's not like there's a bunch of them, like a bunch of wrestlers or anything like that.
Right.
It's not the most appealing sport for a lot of people for some reason.
Yeah, because
No,
people
around-
get
for
think
some
it's slow.
reason,
Around
you're
here, it's-
starving yourself, working
Fair enough.
out, practicing, and then expecting to do in a tournament every weekend.
Around here,
Like,
it's-
People are just like, oh, dude, you're just hugging dudes. What are you doing?
in this area, football and basketball are definitely the dominant sport. Of like
so many
basketball's goated,
footballers
that's
did
why.
wrestling, and I bet that helped their tackling so much.
So
probably
much.
so
No, body
much.
control, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Huge thing about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That's so fucking crazy, dude. How like even like what we were talking about earlier about like UFC or like mixed martial arts and shit. Fucking the evolution of wrestling and how it transpired into it now. It wasn't a thing back in like the mid 2000s when UFC started popping off. It was all Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz and all that shit with all the knockouts. Because it was slow. Nobody wanted to see you take it down because it's a lot of people
Brazilian
have.
Jiu-Jitsu has been around for.
Because there's no,
Yeah, but-
there's no
but when
finishing
you-
ability with wrestling.
with-
You are right. I learned no
and
submissions.
and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is kind of just appealing to watch.
I like it. I
Because
love
when
it.
you're watching
I
it,
unappealing.
when you're
It's
watching
unappealing for a lot of casuals.
it is for
Yeah,
a lot of
people who
casual
don't know
people,
it.
but people that understand the fighting
Yeah.
of it is a really cool thing because it is kind of like breakdance fighting.
It's
in a
human
sense.
chess, bro.
It is.
Yeah. That and stamina. Fighting is a lot of stamina. That's something I learned going to
Yeah.
practice. And
Yeah.
something I really
Fucking hell.
having because I stopped wrestling sophomore year, so that was my last one. But so junior year was I didn't wrestle. But going so long without doing anything, then hopping back into jujitsu, doing live sparring, or we call it rolling in jujitsu. But doing live, it's just like going against someone who's using all their energy and all their force to beat you, and then you have to use all. It's so draining. It's so I don't know how to you just got to do it. You're covered in sweat.
You have to match each other's energy in order to overtake it. And
Because
it's
otherwise
so
you're
much
just gonna
more
speed
fun.
You have to
either you
have
get
to overpower
steamrolled, either
them.
you keep getting steamrolled, or you have that happen. And luckily, because I had wrestling background, I had like so much first of all, standing work. I'm gonna take you down like most of the time, unless you have wrestling or really long Brazilian jiu-jitsu background. But then on the ground, I know what to do. Like fresh newbies, people who are just completely new to Brazilian jiu-jitsu and no martial art background or no ground one, they have no idea they have no idea about leverage or anything. I had like 9 years of like just
Jesus.
literally just learning everything about that. So
That is so fascinating.
God
Yeah.
damn.
Never
So-
did the wrestling, but I was in football for a little while. It was enjoyable, but I didn't ever think of doing
Dan would
it.
be good in jujitsu.
Maybe I've never seen
flexible?
I've kind of, but I've lost some of it. Since I
Stretching
stopped
is
working
super
out.
important for any
Fuck
martial art or
no.
sport. I
Like-
think stretching is super important.
I feel like nowadays when people are getting involved with high school sports, it's more used as an outlet than anything. I don't know if people are necessarily trying to make a career out of it that young. Don't get me wrong, there's still that handful that are, but I was one of the people that used it as an outlet.
Mhm.
I
That's-
used
it was a hobby.
Oh yeah, it was a hobby, but then it was also
It's different
something.
things for
It was
different
it was a physical outlet that I needed in order to help control the depression and anxiety that I have to deal with.
What I like about if you do sports as like a hobby as an adult, whether that's a martial art or whatever it is, what I like about it is not only is it a hobby, it's a hobby that's working on your body.
Yes,
It's a workout. You're constantly working. I love that. It
It's-
makes you feel like you're doing
it's an-
two things at once. You're working on your brain, on a hobby, perfecting it, being better at a master at it, and you're working your body out.
that's
to
the thing
help
too.
you- yeah.
People always think that with these kinds of physical things, and it's always just the physicality of it. No, that's only a small percentage of any kind of workout, of fighting or fight training, of practice at any kind of sport. 80% of what you're doing is mental.
Yeah.
It's all mental training. How to do something properly, how to time something right, how to actually properly do something without hurting yourself. But it's also trying to push yourself through and find the motivation to do it, which admittedly has been a little bit of a struggle for me recently because I do want to get back into working out and everything because I miss powerlifting.
Mm.
Like it, I just miss the adrenaline and all of the feeling it did for me, but I also miss what it did for just helping control the craziness that is depression, anger, anxiety, whatever you want to call it. Because that's also another thing about working out and physicality and sports. It can help a lot with mental health.
So what
Yeah,
you
I
waiting
can.
for?
And that's exactly. And honestly, I just need to get off my ass and just get after
Yeah,
it
I
at
like
this
to hear
point.
that. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So changes for that will be coming soon.
Yeah.
Shit.
Good.
At this point, I think I'm just waiting to get settled into the new apartment
Mm-hmm.
and see how that goes before I start dedicating my time to anything else
Oh, for
serious.
sure. Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm kind of at with it right now. But once that's all settled in, I'm gonna start working out again. I might even just get shit for doing it at home, so that way I don't have to like pay a gym membership or shit.
Might as
Do you-
take
are
advantage of your new
you-
space?
Do you think it's because I've asked this before about people that work out? Do you think it's kind of dangerous to kind of have workout equipment at the place since you're so comfortable in that area? You have the idea of just like, well, I can just not do this, you know?
This is true, but then again, it's just
That's
the side of
that's the discipline.
that's
Exactly.
the
See?
discipline and the
See?
mental side of it,
See?
kind of. So you just kind of have to force yourself into getting into it. But the
Mm.
thing is that once you start getting into that, the adrenaline and just kind of the feeling that you get for it keeps pushing you further. It's like when you're starving or crawling through a desert and you're dehydrated and you see the water, you find the willpower to kind of continue to get yourself going more to
Yeah.
get to the water, even though you were just about to die 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
You find the willpower. You're like, oh shit, now I get to live. Cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it just keeps kind of piling back on.
Yeah.
So it's just a continuing, just kind of stretching it out.
That
just
makes
keeps
sense.
kind of pushing yourself.
It's so interesting how many different types of sports there are too, because like you did football, I did wrestling. You were super good at volleyball. Like Luke
God
was
damn
a
it.
beast, man.
I
Can't bring up sports and not expect to bring in your own experiences there.
Yeah.
Luke.
I can't.
No, you don't want to. You're gonna. This man's gonna
Come on,
act
you're
like
playing-
he wasn't right. Is that
Let's
just
talk
real?
about
This man
your
is a
volleyball
beast.
hobby. So you when did you start playing volleyball? Just for fun?
I
Just hanging out with
started
the
playing
homies?
volleyball from high school or beginning of high school because before that my mom wanted me. I grew up watching basketball and I was favoring Dwayne Wade, so I would play basketball in middle school. But then it just didn't work out because I hate you guys because you guys understand why now.
Fuck.
I was just like, it didn't work out, and you guys start laughing. Fuck you guys. But anyway, yeah, it didn't work out. But you know, y'all already know that I'm still a shooter. I'm still a shooter.
You're still nice.
I need to get better on my playmaking, but I'm still a shooter.
Yes, sir.
But
Getting there.
anyways,
still a
yeah.
bucket?
So freshman year, going into high school, I was surrounded by the Hmong people. So all they did was just play volleyball, and I just started embracing that into it.
So you
Do
just
you know-
kind of did it by association.
Basically.
Do you know why that is? Why is I've noticed that too. Is that
The fat ass Hmong circles.
Yeah, dude.
the
25
volleyball?
volleyball circle.
Yeah, let's.
25 man volleyball.
Do you know-
circle?
do you
Yeah,
guys-
with three
do you
different
know
fucking
at all
volleyballs
why?
flying around.
What?
Do you know at all why they play so much volleyball?
I don't know. I think it's just something that we can relate to. So there's there's three main sports in the Hmong community. There's
Soccer.
soccer's main, volleyball and flag football. Basketball kind of has their own little
Flag
league.
football?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you go to
Do
a
they
Hmong
play that at the
tournament.
Hmong tournament?
Yeah, you go to a Hmong tournament. It's mainly soccer, volleyball, and flag football.
Weird.
Yeah. So volleyball was kind
run
of
each other over.
volleyball was kind of that main
They're
point
smart.
to kind of.
Well, yeah, they all got a low center of gravity, so it's hard to tackle each other.
Well, they're smart. They don't want to risk the CTE. They're like,
Fuck
"We're
no.
Yeah,
not
true. They don't want to.
Facts.
They don't want to risk the
Facts.
fucking concussion.
Yeah, fuck no.
For sure.
I've had 2 of them from football. Not fun.
Oh.
And expensive.
Yeah.
And expensive.
And expensive.
Yay, brain damage.
Yeah, brain damage. Oh, you dislocated your kneecap? Cool. Here's a knee sleeve and just deal with it.
But yeah, it's basically just the idea of it being easier to access. You know, it's just you can go outside of the yard right there and just play a little volleyball
is
circle
true.
right there too. You
You
can't.
don't need a shit ton of equipment. for it.
Yeah,
It's just
you
a
can play
ball and
soccer
you-
too,
yeah,
but
you
it's
just
kind of
ball
pointless to
people.
play soccer without a goal.
Mhm.
It's you can play football with a couple of people, but we traditionally play flag football. But volleyball kind of helps us kind of integrate all together to where everybody kind of gets a turn. So a volleyball circle just kind of bumps into each other and blah 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 and all that
Makes sense.
shit.
Everyone gets to hit the ball.
I like that. I
Everyone
like
gets to
that.
hit the ball. And
I
play.
consider myself somebody, I don't know, because like I'm not trying to be selfish, but I consider myself good at like all the aspects of volleyball. I consider myself good at bumping, setting, and not spiking because I'm still too short. But
He's
I
gotta
can,
work on divert, bro.
yeah, I do. Dude, I had a pretty high vert for my my height, dude.
Get back to it.
I would back when I was, so I'm 5'2". Back when I was like younger and skinnier, I would jump up to my nipples.
Ooh.
So,
So
like-
your bottom of your feet will hit your nipples.
yeah, type shit.
Not bad. That's
No running and just kind
So
of
you're
leave
like
like
a
that.
4-foot vertical.
Not like oh,
That's
I gotta-
huge.
That's fucking gigantic.
Yeah, something like
that's
that.
That's ridiculous.
That's pretty redonk.
But-
Maybe like
that's more
You're
than like
floating.
that's more than Vince Carter, bro.
You're
that's
floating.
like Michael
I
Jordan.
had to think about it.
Michael Jordan levels of vert.
I had to think about it because I don't remember.
You pro-
I've tested this
I could
before
probably see like 1.5 to 2 feet.
because I went to like
No,
I
higher
went
than
towards
that.
If that.
I went towards like
You
the
gotta
stone
realize,
wall.
Like, Michael Jordan is like 46-inch vertical, and that's Air Jordan.
That's almost 2 feet.
That's a 6 foot. 46.
Or sorry, 46. My bad. I'm thinking
That's
no, I'm
almost
thinking
4
something
feet in the
completely-
air.
Yeah, that's almost 4 feet.
That's
my
a
bad.
6'6" black man jumping almost 4 feet
But
in the air.
then again, that's also just because I've tested. It's not me like. It's just me getting my legs over. It's not my whole body going over. What I was doing is I was testing. I was just like a stone wall, and I was measuring it. I was like, oh, it's up to my nipples. Let's see if I can jump this high. I jumped that high, but it's that whole crouch to go
Yeah.
over the stone wall. So it's not
Okay.
exactly my
He's doing-
formation
he's doing
of.
like a hurdle.
Yeah,
jump
yeah,
shit.
it's not
Alright,
exactly
I
what
get
that
you.
is.
You're probably doing like a foot. Then.
Do you remember
Yeah,
the vertical tester in the North Gym where you had to jump up and hit?
No, I never did that.
I
Dude,
did
me
it
and
a few times.
Devon used to. We did that shit religiously.
I remember
man.
that-
We were all
No.
Who did you record?
Devon.
You recorded Devon first, and he got up to the fucking jump box and shit, and then Jomar was next.
Oh,
And
Joe
then Jomar
Martin.
jumped.
Yeah,
And he
Joe
fell.
And he
Yeah.
fell off.
He
And he goes,
busted-
"Oh shit!" And you
he
hear
busted
Dad
his-
just chuckling in the
He
background.
busted. So it was when we were doing our box jumps back when we were in Raider strength and shit. So what we used to do is that we used to take the big ass boxes that you'd do like hops up on top of, and we used to take the fat plates from power cleaning because they were so much thicker, and we'd stack them on top. And then that's how Devon and I would test our leg strength when we would do.
I do that too all the
we would do
time,
vert
dude.
jumps.
That was awesome.
So
Devon had a high ass vertical.
Yeah, he
Devon,
did.
Devon,
He had-
Devon at one
He would get up
point
to like
hit-
7.
No, at one point his highest was a 9, and that was
Yeah.
over me. I'm
God.
5'10".
Ugh.
I got like 5. I'd like to point out I was doing pretty good too.
That's the highest I hit.
Yeah.
Well, I hit 2 was 5, and that was coming up to just about where
Dude,
my
it was
where my
huge, dude.
sternum
The
is
big
at,
black
the middle of my
box. Dude,
chest.
I remember that. We loved doing that.
Dude, it was so much
It was
fun.
so
And,
fun.
coach loved watching us do it because he thought it was so much fun and enthusiastic because everybody would pile around to watch.
Yes,
us too.
dude. It was like
It was
you wanted to
like
see
putting on
someone
a show
break
because
their
we just didn't give a
record.
shit. We were just testing out our leg strength and shit. So it was when Devon was doing like 6 or 7. This was like junior year or some shit like that. He hits it once, kind of biffs it a little bit, catches himself and resets, does it again perfectly. Jomar's like, I could do that shit. Comes up, tries
And
it.
Jomar's a taller
Jomar's
dude.
tall. He was like 6'4", 6'5". He's a tall motherfucker.
Like 6'2".
Yeah, I was saying I don't think he's 6'4", 6'5". That's huge.
And
He
Devon
was-
is
That's
shorter
Jacob.
than you.
That's Jacob.
He was-
height.
Yeah.
Jacob
he
6'4".
was just under Mr. Carly.
Jacob's 6'4", so I don't know.
Okay.
And then Devon is shorter than both Jomar and Dan.
Devon is shorter than both of us. He's probably shorter than me by about an inch, maybe 2.
Yeah, like 5'9".
Yeah, so he's probably like an inch
He used
shorter
to do
than
the
I am.
dunk contests, man.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I
And
skipped.
then, so when Jomar goes,
Boy.
he misplaced his foot so hard he does almost a full head over like ass over tea kettle and almost like kicks himself in the back of the head and then catches himself upside down and then just kind of falls down.
And he goes, "Oh shit!"
He goes, "Oh shit!" and catches himself and falls to the ground. And all you heard in the video was just a thump and just him hitting
shit
the
was
ground.
so
He just kind
fucking
of
funny.
fell out of frame too, so just kind of like a cartoon
Who
situation.
recorded that?
It was him. He was the one that was chuckling behind the camera.
I just sit there and just wait. And that's all you heard in the video too. You just heard the thunk and I just.
But yeah, dude,
That's funny.
I consider myself like a gracious card that was able to do everything. Nuku. So back when I actually met Nuku, being from North, I would go to the South Side because my nephew actually went to the South Side, Yushia.
Mhm.
Shout out to Yushia.
Lucky.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
What up, Lucky?
Shout out to the camera's dead, but
Aw.
it's okay. But anyways, so I would go over to them, and they would have volleyball nets set up at Roosevelt Park. So I would go over there and play. I was the only North person there, but being the only North person there,
Nerd.
my skills of volleyball was more advanced than the South people. So what are you?
Nothing's
I
happening.
hate both of y'all.
Don't
Okay,
say
okay.
anything. Be cool. Be cool.
But anyways,
Don't worry about it.
drugs. Anyway,
No!
Just kidding. No, we're not. We're not doing drugs.
It's me.
Yeah.
We're only taking needles out, okay?
Jesus Christ.
But anyways, yeah. So I would go to the South Side to play volleyball with them at Roosevelt Park. Being the only North student there, from surrounded by South students, I was more advanced in my skill level of playing volleyball. So I would get admired by the people around me.
Just built different.
Just built North different, apparently. But apparently that couldn't equate to football or basketball for the North
Well, no,
Side.
for those two, you need height, so that's kind of a factor there. Sorry, but
Physicality.
No, I'm talking
and
about
height
North
and-
Side,
I'm just
North
like,
team.
Oh, yeah.
North team, because
do
their
you
football and
remember
basketball
when-
sucked ass.
No,
remember-
their football was better than North, so I can't argue against that. I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking about North football and basketball sucked ass.
Basketball was great.
It was alright.
I
Our
was about to
varsity
say,
basketball team was
we-
fucking fantastic. Our football team sucked ass.
Our
so
Yes,
football
that
team
was-
lost by so much every single time.
Yeah, I imagine being on the receiving end of that dickening because it's not great.
But yeah, anyway, so I was in an advanced tier and I was getting admired. So Nuku at the time, she was, I don't know if she wants me to say it, but she was a Mormon. So she would go to church, and then eventually the missionaries that go to that church, they come scout at the fucking Roosevelt Park, and then lo and behold, they come
Fucking recruiting for their coat, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck.
and then lo and behold, they come see my little happy ass
Oh,
playing
shit.
volleyball, and they like it's like
So-
they like to
What you're telling me is that Nuku diverted from Mormonism to be with you?
basically.
That's
What?
a fucking
That's
great
got her out of-
decision.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Great
you got her out of a
decision.
cult, bro.
Yeah, dude.
That's
Great-
a flex
great
right there.
decision.
I remember
bro.
the first time I told you, like, hey, what do you think of so Nuku's in Nuku's what used to be a Mormon. What do you think that is? She's in a cult, bro.
Oh, yeah,
I was like,
I'm
oh shit.
when Preston at school told us that he was a Mormon, I wanted to tell him to not.
It's,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pseudo culture.
I was closer to
Pseudo-cult,
Jackson,
like,
weirdly,
behavior
because
shit.
Jackson was like in all my science and math classes since he was so smart. So like, there was no, Jackson was really cool. Jackson Pond, shout
Yeah.
out to Jackson Pond.
But yeah,
Yeah,
anyway,
really
so being at the South Side Roosevelt, they come scout me, and they actually want to do an event like almost every Friday after school, around like 7 to 9. It's called Sports Night. So they would try to incorporate all these sports for us innocent Hmong people just to go in and just play. But majority of the time was volleyball. And then eventually I just started meeting Nuku, and then we start engaging. But originally I actually met her at a Halloween party that she invited my nephew and his friends, and then I happened to come along.
Did you think she was really attractive the
Wow.
first time you saw her?
Yes, of course.
Did you think that you would date her?
I didn't think I would date her because I knew she was a huge Mormon. So I was just like, I don't know if that can be the case, because here I am screaming, fuck
He's like, I'm a
Pussy
fucking,
dick.
I'm a wild ass dude. I
Yeah,
don't need
yeah.
no fucking.
And I was
Mormon chick.
vaping. I was vaping at the time too.
Oh my god! I forgot about your vaping days.
Yeah, dude.
Clouds.
You gotta have
Jesus
Nuku on
fuck.
sometime, and if
You
she
should.
can talk about
I know.
it,
You should
she
have
wants
Nuku
to talk
on.
about it. I want to be
Yeah.
there to have to ask her questions.
Jesus.
Nuku on the
Podcast.
next
I've always
episode.
talked to her before, like
Nuku
before
on
she
the
didn't
next episode.
before she didn't meet you. I'm like, you gotta talk to Marcus because he would ask you a lot of questions. She goes, I'm up for it. I'm
So
like,
to
okay.
say Luke is gonna start bringing all of us on with our significant others and shit.
Oh, I don't know
That'd
if
be
I'm allowed to
interesting.
bring my pocket pussy onto the
Oh
podcast.
my!
Jesus Christ! I'm telling Allie,
You could just plop it on the table.
if it's got a suction cup, we could just throw it on the wall.
Look at that.
Dude, we could like draw a bullseye on the wall and see who can
Try
stick it.
and whip it like an axe.
Who can stick it right in the middle of the bullseye?
All right.
Well, yeah, I had so much control over my body and balance while I'm.
Graceful.
I can
elegant.
I can dive for a ball with one hand and control it so good in the air type of thing.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
if
you know how to
He's
control
smooth-
the
he's
balls.
smooth
in the
with
air.
it.
Here, and
Luke's
I'm setting
smooth with
somebody
it.
Up. I know how to control
Okay.
my body. I can do that
Ladies
even
and gentlemen,
now.
Luke
Okay.
has said that he knows how to control balls in the air. Make
Dude,
sure to hit him up.
dude,
Dude.
of course. First of all, I'm 5'2", easy.
How come you don't go play no beach volleyball, bro?
Dude, the sand's
We don't
different,
go to
dude.
the beach, dude. I hate sand.
The sand
Dude,
is
I'm not
different,
kidding.
dude.
I hate sand.
I'm with Anakin on this one. Fuck
Yep,
sand. Of
fuck
course it's
sand.
rough and it gets fucking everywhere.
I washed a clothes and towel with sand in it, and
Also, fuck them
I have
tauntauns.
learned that you're not supposed to do
And them
that
fucking
because
Tusken
that
Raider
sand will
assholes.
stay in there until you take it out.
Kill Mama
Take like
Skywalker.
the stuff out and like completely clean. You have to
Yeah.
completely clean out all the sand from there and stuff. Like we still sometimes see sand in our.
I
lint
do
trap.
not want to
in
clean
the lint
sand
trap,
on my
not on
gooch.
the clothes, but in
No,
like
fuck
the
no.
lint trap. It's so
Yeah.
annoying.
But yeah, so eventually just getting into some traction from the South people. It was mainly a bunch of South people that were going there just to go play volleyball and all that
Mhm.
shit. But I was cool with everybody. I went over there with them, being the only North person. So I met Nuku, and then we started engaging more. And then she keeps telling me, she goes, "You're so light on your feet. You're like a ballerina." But you know what?
She's calling you
fucked up.
Twinkle Toes.
It's fucked up because every time I go to work now, like in my beginning career of working at the place that I'm working at, I would tell them these volleyball stories, and I'm like, how I used to have a pretty high vertical. They go like, "Hey Luke, because I'm short, can you touch the ceiling?" I'm like, you can ask me 3 years ago, I would have touched the ceiling. He goes, "Well, you're not 3 years ago now, so you should try it." I'm like, fuck no, I used to be super light on my feet. My girlfriend would say that I'm light on my feet. She would call me a ballerina. And they played with that story tenfold. Every single day. "Oh, did you hear that Luke was a fucking ballerina?" I'm like, fuck you guys. Well, next thing you know, one of my coworkers go to Walmart. And then Nuku and I go to Walmart at the same time as him. And he confirms it with Nuku. He goes like, "Nuku, hey, can you confirm that Luke used to be a ballerina?" And then she goes, "Yes." And I'm like, that's not how you tell the story, bro. You're supposed to tell the story that I was so good at volleyball and I was so light on my
Fucking
feet
menace.
that I looked like a ballerina. Not
love
that I
for
was a
Nuku.
ballerina.
Nuku played that so well.
She played that. She played that
know.
long con
I
game in
know.
that game in that entire time,
It
bro.
eats me to this day. But I guess
Graceful
I
like a
deserve it.
ballerina, bro. Take it like a compliment.
Dude, you were
I do-
so
I
good
take-
at it though.
I take it as a compliment.
I
but
genuinely would get so worried if I like ever went against you. Like the couple times I would play it, like
Yeah,
This
you
is-
knew you were fucked if Luke was on the other team.
Pretty much,
dude, it was always like that in gym class. Because I would always be like either setting or like in the back somewhere. And I'm always
you
good
could
at
spike.
receiving.
It's always
could've
like me.
spiked.
I
and
can
Justin
if it's
dodgeball.
if it's co-ed nets, it's over. I can spike the hell out of you. I can what we call getting a face like a ball and hitting the face, a 6-pack. Dude, I was 6-pack
because if you smack somebody
everybody.
in the face with it, it imprints the print on their face, or what?
The volleyball?
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
It's called a 6-pack. So I was
That's
6-pack
clever. That's funny.
everybody. But with
That's
Hmong
terrible.
nets, it's different because Hmong rules are more strict. So I have to control more of my
Fuck them rules.
balance. So
Are they more strict? What do you mean?
So, for example, in regular volleyball, you can afford to touch the net without having to
Take penalties.
take penalties
Oh,
or do a turnover. So there's the net, and there's a line that aligns the net on the floor that it's visible to see. So you can cross the line. Like if you accidentally like do a spike and you lose your balance because of gravity, You can go over the line, it won't be anything.
Gravity
You can-
do be a fickle bitch.
Yeah, you can go over the line, it wouldn't be anything. You
I
can touch
see.
the net, it wouldn't be
So
anything.
that's why it's hard because you can't just like run up and spike because you'll just go through the net and
Yeah.
it'll be a turnover.
you
normally or
really
some
have to
shit.
control yourself.
I
Because
see.
imagine just running in
Yeah,
and
that
you have
just
to go
makes
up
that shit.
and down.
That just
Yeah,
makes me
that's
realize
big
how much
rough.
harder that shit
That's fucking
is.
annoying.
'Cause
Dude.
you have to jump and
That's
then
so
stop.
interesting. I never
But
knew there
then-
was a difference.
Yeah,
in
With
Yeah,
that.
interesting. That was
Hmong
interesting.
rules, the nets are taller. You cannot, if you serve, you can't touch the net. You can't have the ball touch the net. If the ball touches the net, it's turnover. And they do their point system so weird too. So every time, it's weird. I won't get into it.
Don't they
But-
do like a back and forth where one person makes a point, they subtract one or some shit?
No, they do it where, so if the person, okay, so there's right and left. If the person on the right is serving and he doesn't make it over, the person on the left, I believe, gets that point.
Oh,
So
it's kind of like a stealing system.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's weird. But anyway, so with the Hmong rules, you can't touch the net because it's automatic turnover. No matter what, if it's in play, the ball can be fucking 10 feet away from you, but if you touch that net, it's turnover.
So are
automatically.
people pretty anal about that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
People are very anal about that, and crossing that line too. Very anal.
Okay.
But volleyball is
no
such a
point
like
for us.
intense sport. You see those videos of those motherfuckers that play in the pro leagues and how hard they spike and
Yeah.
shit, and all the fake outs. It's so amazing.
The way that
you're
people-
seeing levels that I'm not, because I'm just like,
And
damn,
just
they're hitting
wa-
that ball pretty.
I-
They're hitting that ball pretty nice. Right
I have
now.
a couple of family friends that are really big into volleyball and shit, and I've seen them play before, and they're kind of playing like, it's not a pro league or a semi-pro league. It's kind of like an adult pro league or some
Yeah, yeah.
shit. But watching them play is scary. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that ball is getting spiked 60, 70
and you
miles
have
an
to be
hour.
ready.
And you got to and watching people be able to just bounce that off their hand like it's nothing.
Yeah,
and just
that
get up
shit
and keep
hurts
going. I'm
like
just
a
looking at it, I'm like, Jesus
motherfucker.
Christ.
Yeah, dude, and you have to be ready too.
Yeah.
You have to. So I used to have very quick. What's the term? I used to be very quick with it. Quick with
Reaction
receiving.
speed.
Quick reaction speed. So they would spike the ball, and these Hmong people don't fucking play when they spike the ball. They spike that shit hard as fuck, but with more control too, because you can spike it hard as fuck, but it can go almost anywhere.
Yeah.
It's always depending on your control and how your positioning is. And like I said earlier, imagine putting the factor of running in and jumping up and not going to touch the line or
Yeah,
the net.
So, you have
So it has to go
control-
run in and go up and down
Yeah, you
instead
have to
of running
control
in.
your momentum.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, it's also the way that they rotate their body in order to get the spike in. And with that, it's so much power.
Fascinating.
So the people have to receive that shit either. So mainly it's
Or they
just on
try
the
to
floor.
block it too, right?
You can block it too. You gotta remember. Imagine getting your finger fucking jabbed or
Oh yeah, dude! If
jabbed
you catch
in,
it on a
dude.
fingertip
The
or tapped on
bruises that
top,
you
yeah,
probably
it-
get
yeah,
Oh,
dude,
bro.
it's the
You'll
worst.
smash a finger something fierce through
And then
that.
imagine just being a defender too, trying to block and like, oh shit, you touched the line.
Yeah,
Sports
exactly
are
just like
wild.
that
That
too.
just hurts my fingers thinking about it.
It's just like that too.
Sports are so wild.
Yeah. But anyways, that's gonna wrap up this episode today, guys. This was actually a pretty good episode.
This
I
was
enjoyed
fun.
this.
This was a good
Yeah, it
time.
was.
We
This
definitely
was
gotta do
really
this
good.
again.
I was so nervous, and this was so fun.
So my boy Marcus over here has been trying to get a podcast for a while, his own podcast, but he's just been so nervous to get on one. So I was like, you might have,
We had to
'Cause
give him the experience.
as the
Yes.
person that gets influenced by a bunch of podcasts, which is you listen to a lot of podcasts on your daily routine, more than any of us, even combined.
Oh, for sure.
I need you to get on the podcast, man.
Oh yeah.
That's what we needed. But it's good that we got this together. We haven't seen each other in a while,
It's
Yeah,
been a
this
hot
was
minute.
amazing.
I'm working all the damn time, so it's hard to hang out. But I now have Thursdays off as well.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
So
It genuinely felt like we were just hanging out.
Yeah,
This was awesome.
It did. Yeah,
We were just
it was a
talking,
good time.
yeah. But
I
talking
look
and
forward to the
chilling.
next one.
thanks again, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow these guys on their Instagrams or their social medias down below.
I
in
don't
the
have
description.
Instagram. Don't follow me. I won't add you.
Don't follow me either.
Follow me if you want your eyes to be cleaned with bleach and scar your mind.
Turn notifications on for Daniel over here. But anyways, yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn notifications on for the channel. And yeah, see you guys on the next time.
Adios.
Oh,
Adios,
and
everybody.
don't be an a-hole, be a
Be a
b-hole.
b-hole.
BeeHole.